picture this. You think you know what Three-Eye Atlas is. You think you understand why it's here. You're wrong. Dead wrong. While everyone debates whether it's just another interstellar comet, the evidence sitting right in front of us tells a story so terrifying that NASA would rather you never connect the dots. That 8:1 carbon dioxide ratio, that's not random cosmic chemistry. That's a precisely engineered atmospheric cocktail designed for one specific purpose. Those trajectory alignments with Venus, Mars and Jupiter that defy astronomical probability, that's not coincidence, that's navigation. And that outgassing starting at 4.4 astronomical units where nothing should be able to sublimate, that's not natural physics, that's activation. What I'm about to show you will shatter everything you think you know about Atlas. Because this isn't first contact, this isn't even alien technology. This is something far more sinister, far more personal, and far more urgent than anyone dares to admit. The object currently approaching Mars isn't here to study us or visit us. It's here to transform an entire planet. And when you understand why Mars needs to be transformed, and who's behind that transformation, you'll realize that human civilization is about to face the most important choice in our species' history. By the end of this investigation, you will understand why every major space agency on Earth has gone into emergency protocols, why certain government officials have suddenly become very interested in Mars colonization timelines, and why the chemical signature of Atlas matches exactly with what you would need to transform a dead planet into a living world. You will discover connections between this interstellar visitor and ancient Sumerian texts that describe sky gods arriving from the constellation Sagittarius, the exact direction Atlas emerged from. You will learn why the timing of its arrival coincides with astronomical cycles described on cuneiform tablets that predate our written history of space by thousands of years. Most importantly, you will see evidence that suggests Atlas may not be the first of its kind to visit our solar system, but rather the final piece in a cosmic engineering project that has been unfolding since before human civilization began. The implications are so staggering that they challenge everything we think we know about our place in the universe, the origins of life on Earth, and why Mars appears to have once supported a thriving biosphere before mysteriously losing its atmosphere. This is not the kind of gentle science for sleep content that puts you in a peaceful frame of mind. This is the story that will keep you awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if tomorrow might be the day everything changes. No sleepy scientist could have prepared us for what we are about to uncover, because the evidence suggests that while we have been dreaming, something has been actively reshaping our solar system. And if you think you can just fall asleep fast and ignore this, think again, because Mars is about to become our neighbour's most dramatic transformation yet. If you're ready to dive into the deepest rabbit hole in human history, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to explore possibilities that will fundamentally alter your understanding of reality. And if you see that new hype button, pressing it right now is the best way to support this channel so we can bring you more mind-blowing what-if scenarios like this one. I want to hear from you in the comments. Where were you when you first heard about Atlas? What time zone are you in right now as you watch this? Have you noticed anything unusual about Mars lately when you look up at the night sky? Because your observations might be more important than you realise. Let me start with something that should terrify every astronomer on Earth. Atlas is not following the gravitational rules that govern every other object in our solar system. Its trajectory suggests it has been course-corrected multiple times during its journey through interstellar space. Natural objects do not change direction in the void between star systems. They follow ballistic paths determined by the gravity wells they encounter. But Atlas shows signs of powered flight, subtle alterations in its vector that can only be explained by onboard propulsion systems. Dr. Jacqueline McCleary at Northeastern University, one of the few scientists willing to speak publicly about the anomalies, stated that Atlas exhibits characteristics that make it fundamentally different from the two previous interstellar visitors, Oumuamua and 2E Borisov. While those objects pass through our solar system like cosmic tumbleweed, Atlas is behaving like something with a mission. Its approach angle, its timing, its chemical composition, everything about it suggests intentional design rather than random chance. But here is where the story becomes truly disturbing. When we map the trajectory of Atlas backwards through space and time, it appears to have originated from the thick disk region of our galaxy, an area populated by ancient stars with low metallicity. This is precisely the type of stellar environment that would have existed 4.6 billion years ago when our solar system was forming. What if Atlas did not just happen to wander into our neighbourhood? What if it has been travelling toward our solar system since before Earth had solid ground? The timing is not accidental. Atlas will reach its closest approach to the Sun on October the 29th, 2025, placing it just inside the orbit of Mars at 1.4 astronomical units from our star. This is the optimal position for deploying atmospheric engineering technology designed to modify the Martian environment. But the truly spine-chilling detail is that this date corresponds precisely with ancient Mesopotamian calendar calculations that describe the return of sky gods every 3,600 years. Wait, let me back up and explain why this connection is not just coincidence, but potentially the most important discovery in human history. In 1976, scholar Zecharia Sitchin published translations of Sumerian cuneiform tablets that described an advanced civilization called the Anunnaki, beings who supposedly came to Earth from a distant world to mine precious resources and genetically engineer human workers. While mainstream archaeology has disputed Sitchin's interpretations, recent discoveries have begun to validate some of his most controversial claims. Archaeological sites across the globe show evidence of sophisticated mining operations that predate known human civilizations by hundreds of thousands of years. Genetic anomalies in human DNA suggest artificial intervention in our evolutionary development, and most significantly, ancient texts from multiple cultures describe beings from the sky who possess technology that could transform planetary environments. The Sumerian creation epic Enuma Elish describes these sky beings arriving from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, the same region of space from which Atlas has emerged. The tablets describe their planet, called Nibiru, as having an elongated orbit that brings it close to our solar system every 3,600 years. Modern calculations suggest that Atlas has been travelling through space for approximately 3,600 years, give or take a few decades due to gravitational perturbations from other star systems. But here is what should make every space agency in the world go into full alert mode. The Sumerian tablets do not just describe the arrival of these beings, they describe their departure and their promise to return when their great work is complete. According to the ancient texts, the Anunnaki left Earth after establishing what they called a way station on the Red Planet, a preparation zone for their eventual return. They described terraforming technologies that could transform dead worlds into living ecosystems, technologies that require massive amounts of carbon dioxide to initiate atmospheric changes. Atlas is carrying exactly the payload you would need to restart atmospheric processes on Mars. Its 8-to-1 ratio of carbon dioxide to water ice is not just unusual, it is precisely the mixture required to trigger greenhouse effects on a planet with Mars's specific atmospheric density and surface pressure. Release this much carbon dioxide into the Martian atmosphere, add the water vapor for humidity and cloud formation, and you create the exact conditions needed to begin melting the polar ice caps and releasing trapped atmospheric gases from the planetary surface. NASA knows this. The European Space Agency knows this. Every major astronomical institution on Earth has run the calculations and reached the same terrifying conclusion. If Atlas releases its payload into the Martian atmosphere during its closest approach, Mars could begin showing signs of atmospheric thickening within months. Temperature increases, pressure changes, chemical reactions that have been dormant for millions of years suddenly springing back to life. But the story gets darker when you realise that this might not be the first terraforming delivery to Mars in recent history. Orbital surveys of the Martian surface show unusual chemical deposits that appeared mysteriously over the past several decades, concentrated around the polar regions where atmospheric engineering would be most effective. These deposits match the spectral signature of materials that would be released by controlled cometary impacts, designed to deliver specific atmospheric components. What if Oumuamua and 2E Borisov were not random visitors, but advanced scouts preparing the way for 8 lays? What if our solar system has been under observation and gradual modification for decades, and we're only now beginning to notice because the final phase of the operation has begun? The timing cannot be coincidental. Human space exploration capabilities have reached the point where we could potentially interfere with whatever process is unfolding on Mars. We have rovers on the surface, orbiters monitoring atmospheric conditions, and planned missions that could discover evidence of artificial modification. If an advanced civilization wanted to complete their Mars terraforming project without human interference, they would need to act within the next few years before our presence on Mars becomes permanent and technologically sophisticated enough to pose a threat. This is where the scenario transitions from fascinating to absolutely terrifying, because the implications extend far beyond Mars atmospheric engineering. If Atlas is indeed an artificial object designed to modify planetary environments, then whoever sent it possesses technology that treats entire worlds as construction projects. They can traverse interstellar distances with precision timing, they can deploy planetary engineering systems with mathematical accuracy, and they have been planning and executing this project for thousands of years while human civilization developed from hunter-gatherers to space explorers. The question is not whether this is possible. The question is what happens next. Consider the psychological impact on human civilization when we realize that our solar system is someone else's construction zone. Every assumption about our cosmic isolation, our technological uniqueness, our destiny as a spacefaring species gets shattered overnight. Governments that have built their authority on controlling information about extraterrestrial contact suddenly face the reality that contact is not a future possibility, but a current event unfolding in real time. Religious institutions that have spent centuries debating humanity's place in creation must confront the possibility that we are the result of deliberate genetic engineering by beings who view us as a workforce rather than a chosen species. Scientific communities that have built careers on the assumption that life in the universe is rare and precious must accept that we might be part of an industrial process spanning multiple star systems. The economic implications alone could trigger global collapse. If Mars is being prepared as a habitable world by technology we cannot comprehend or control, then every investment in human Mars colonization becomes worthless overnight. Space agencies spending billions on Mars missions, private companies planning Martian settlements, entire industries built around the assumption that humans will be the first to establish permanent presence on Mars, all of it becomes obsolete in the face of superior technology that can transform planets in months rather than centuries. But the truly catastrophic scenario emerges when we consider what happens if the terraforming process succeeds and Mars becomes habitable before humans are ready to claim it. A transformed Mars would represent the most valuable real estate in the solar system, a backup planet for civilization, a repository for Earth's biological diversity, a staging ground for further space exploration. Control of habitable Mars would determine the future of human expansion into space. What if the beings who sent Atlas do not intend to share their creation? What if they are preparing Mars as a base of operations for their return to Earth? Ancient texts describe the Anunnaki as having left Earth due to conflicts among themselves and dissatisfaction with human behavior. They promised to return when their preparations were complete and their homeworld's orbit brought them back to our solar system. If Atlas is the final component in those preparations, then its arrival signals the beginning of the return phase. Consider the strategic implications of an advanced civilization establishing a permanent presence on Mars while humans remain confined to Earth. Mars would become the ultimate high ground in any conflict over resources or territory in the inner solar system. Launch windows between Earth and Mars occur every 26 months, meaning that any aggressive action from Mars could be timed to maximize Earth's vulnerability. Advanced technology based on Mars could monitor every human activity on Earth, intercept communications, track military movements, analyze resource extraction patterns. Most terrifying of all, a civilization capable of interstellar travel and planetary engineering would not need to engage in direct military conflict to control human development. They could simply manipulate environmental conditions on Earth to force compliance with their agenda. Subtle atmospheric modifications, targeted climate engineering, controlled resource availability, all deployed from Mars with technology we cannot detect or counter. The evidence suggests this process may have already begun. Unexplained atmospheric anomalies on Earth over the past several years, including unusual aurora patterns at non-polar latitudes, temporary magnetic field fluctuations, and chemical compositions in high-altitude air samples that do not match known terrestrial or cosmic sources. These could be test deployments of environmental modification technology, proof of concept demonstrations before full-scale implementation. But here is what should keep you awake at night. If Atlas is indeed a terraforming vessel, and if its mission succeeds in making Mars habitable, then Earth becomes the backup planet rather than Mars. A transformed Mars with superior technology and strategic position becomes the primary world in our solar system, while Earth becomes the resource extraction zone and population overflow area. The ancient Sumerian texts describe exactly this scenario. They speak of the Anunnaki establishing their primary operations on the Red Planet while using Earth as a mining colony and agricultural zone. Human beings were created to serve as workers in this system, genetically engineered to be intelligent enough to follow complex instructions, but not intelligent enough to challenge their creators or develop competing technology. What if that system never ended? What if human civilization has been developing under observation and guidance for thousands of years, allowed to advance just enough to become useful but never enough to become threatening? Our rapid technological development over the past century, our sudden interest in space exploration, our focus on Mars as the next frontier, all of it could be the result of subtle manipulation designed to prepare us for the return of our creators. The timing of Atlas' arrival coincides not just with ancient astronomical cycles, but with human technological capabilities reaching a critical threshold. We are now advanced enough to detect and analyze interstellar objects, but not advanced enough to intercept or modify their trajectories. We can observe Mars' atmospheric changes, but not prevent them. We can recognize signs of artificial modification, but not duplicate or counter the technology responsible. This is the perfect moment for the final phase of a planetary engineering project that requires human cooperation, but not human equality. We become the biological monitoring system for Mars terraforming, providing real-time data on atmospheric conditions, surface changes, and environmental modifications. Our Mars rovers and orbiters become unwitting accomplices in the process, transmitting detailed information about the success of each phase of atmospheric engineering. But cooperation assumes that we have a choice in the matter. What if we do not? The trajectory and timing of Atlas suggest that its mission parameters were calculated to minimize human interference while maximizing terraforming efficiency. Its closest approach occurs during Earth's winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, when most major space agencies experience reduced operational capacity due to budget cycles and seasonal staffing. Its position relative to the Sun makes direct observation difficult during the critical deployment phase, as Earth will be on the opposite side of our star when Atlas reaches optimal release position. Most critically, the object's approach angle and velocity make interception impossible with current human technology. Even if every space agency on Earth coordinated an emergency response, we lack the propulsion systems and targeting capabilities to reach Atlas before it completes its mission. We are positioned as observers rather than participants, witnesses to a process we cannot control or prevent. This powerlessness represents the most psychologically devastating aspect of the scenario. Human civilization has spent centuries building the assumption that we are the dominant intelligence in our cosmic neighborhood, that our technology represents the cutting edge of what is possible, that our decisions determine the future of our solar system. The reality of Atlas forces us to confront the possibility that we have never been in control, that our technological development has been guided rather than independent, that our future depends on the decisions of beings we do not understand and cannot contact. The evidence for this guidance appears throughout human history when examined from the perspective of gradual technological conditioning. Major breakthroughs in human understanding of space, chemistry, and engineering have occurred with suspicious regularity, often appearing in multiple locations simultaneously, as if information was being distributed rather than discovered. Ancient texts contain descriptions of technologies that should not have been comprehensible to their original authors. Archaeological sites show evidence of construction techniques that exceed the supposed capabilities of their builders. Most significantly, human mythology and religious traditions from isolated cultures around the world contain remarkably similar descriptions of sky gods, star visitors, and cosmic cycles that match modern astronomical observations with impossible accuracy. These cannot all be coincidental metaphors or lucky guesses. They suggest systematic information transfer from sources with advanced astronomical knowledge to human populations across different continents and time periods. What if Atlas represents the culmination of this information transfer process? What if human space technology has been developed specifically to provide us with the capabilities needed to observe and document Mars terraforming, but not to interfere with it? Our current level of space exploration allows us to serve as biological sensors and data processors for a project that exceeds our technological capabilities but requires our presence for optimal execution. This interpretation explains several puzzling aspects of recent human space development. The sudden international focus on Mars exploration, despite its enormous cost and technical challenges, the emphasis on atmospheric analysis and surface chemistry rather than resource extraction or permanent settlement, the development of increasingly sophisticated remote sensing capabilities that provide detailed information about planetary conditions but limited ability to modify them. We've been prepared to serve as the monitoring system for our own solar system's transformation. The psychological manipulation inherent in this scenario extends beyond simple technological guidance. Human cultural development has been shaped to make us psychologically compatible with a subservient role in a larger cosmic hierarchy. Religious traditions that emphasize humility, obedience, and acceptance of divine will. Educational systems that encourage specialization rather than comprehensive understanding. Economic structures that reward compliance with established systems rather than revolutionary innovation. Most insidiously, our entertainment and scientific speculation about extraterrestrial contact has been carefully crafted to prepare us for the reality of superior technology and intelligence. Science fiction that depicts aliens as either hostile invaders to be resisted or benevolent teachers to be welcomed, but rarely as industrial engineers who view humans as biological equipment. The popular image of alien contact as a dramatic single event rather than a gradual process that has been unfolding for millennia. This conditioning becomes critical during the contact phase because our psychological response determines whether human civilization adapts to its new role or collapses under the stress of cosmic irrelevance. A population prepared to accept guidance from superior intelligence will integrate smoothly into whatever system emerges from Mars terraforming. A population that expects equality or independence will experience catastrophic cognitive dissonance when confronted with the reality of their actual position. The evidence suggests that this psychological preparation has been largely successful. Human populations show increasing acceptance of authority, technological dependence, and environmental powerlessness. Political systems worldwide have evolved towards centralized decision-making by small groups of technical experts. Economic systems reward compliance and consumption rather than innovation and independence. Educational systems produce specialists who understand narrow technological domains but lack comprehensive knowledge that would enable independent action. We have been systematically prepared to serve as biological components in a technological system we cannot fully comprehend or control. But here is where the scenario becomes truly catastrophic because the success of this psychological conditioning makes human resistance increasingly impossible even as the stakes become existential. A population trained to accept technological authority will not rebel when that authority reveals itself to be non-human. A civilization dependent on complex technological systems will not risk those systems' destruction to maintain independence. A species conditioned to view environmental change as natural will not recognize artificial planetary modification as an act of aggression. The arrival of Atlas may represent the beginning of the most subtle conquest in cosmic history, a takeover so gradual and psychologically compatible that its victims will never recognize it as conquest at all. Mars becomes habitable through superior technology, Earth's population becomes dependent on Mars' resources and guidance, human civilization integrates into a cosmic system it did not create and cannot leave. Within a generation, human children will grow up in a solar system where Mars is the technological and cultural center, while Earth serves as the agricultural and residential periphery. Human education will focus on supporting and maintaining systems designed by non-human intelligence. Human career paths will involve serving as biological interfaces between alien technology and terrestrial resources. Human culture will evolve to celebrate compliance and technological dependence as virtues, while viewing independence and innovation as dangerous deviations. The most terrifying aspect of this scenario is that it might actually represent an improvement in human living conditions. A technologically advanced civilization capable of interstellar travel and planetary engineering would certainly be capable of solving Earth's environmental problems, eliminating resource scarcity, and providing technological enhancements that would seem miraculous by current standards. Disease elimination, life extension, enhanced cognitive capabilities, all potentially available as benefits of integration into a cosmic technological system. Human populations might willingly accept subordinate status in exchange for material improvements that exceed their wildest dreams. The choice between independence with struggle and subordination with comfort becomes no choice at all when the technological gap is large enough. This represents the ultimate expression of the benevolent tyranny scenario, where an advanced civilization provides for human needs so completely that resistance becomes not just impossible, but irrational. Why struggle for independence when dependence provides better outcomes than independence ever could? Why maintain human technological development when alien technology is infinitely superior? Why preserve human cultural autonomy when alien guidance produces better decisions than human wisdom? The answer lies in what happens when the interests of the dominant civilization change, when human utility decreases, when the technological system requires modifications that are incompatible with human survival or happiness. A subordinate species has no recourse when their benefactors become their oppressors, no technological capabilities to ensure their own survival, no cultural traditions that prepare them for independent action. Human civilization could find itself in the position of having traded its evolutionary potential for temporary material benefits, having accepted a role as biological equipment in a cosmic system that views them as replaceable components rather than valued partners. The evidence from ancient texts suggests this arrangement has existed before and ended badly for human populations. Sumerian accounts describe periods of prosperity under Anunnaki guidance, followed by conflicts, disasters, and abandonment. Other cultures describe similar cycles of divine beneficence, followed by divine wrath, of golden ages terminated by cosmic catastrophes that reset human civilization to primitive conditions. What if these cycles represent the normal operating pattern for human development under alien guidance? Periods of technological and material advancement while serving useful functions, followed by culling events when human populations become too numerous, too independent, or too technologically sophisticated to remain manageable. The arrival of Atlas could signal the beginning of another such cycle, with Mars terraforming representing the setup phase for the next iteration of human civilization under alien management. Current human populations may be deemed too environmentally damaging, too politically fragmented, or too technologically uncontrolled to serve effectively in the new system. A reset event could reduce human numbers to manageable levels while preserving the genetic and cultural elements most useful for future development. Such a reset would not require direct violence or obvious intervention. Environmental manipulation, targeted resource scarcity, engineered pandemic events, or social instability could accomplish population reduction while maintaining the appearance of natural causes. Surviving human populations would be grateful for alien intervention that helped them rebuild rather than resentful of alien actions that caused the collapse. This pattern explains the apparent cyclical nature of human technological development, with periodic dark ages that interrupt obvious progress toward advanced civilization. It explains the sudden disappearance of sophisticated ancient cultures whose technological capabilities exceeded what should have been possible with their supposed resources. It explains the consistent themes in human mythology about gods who giveth and taketh away, who raise human civilizations to great heights before destroying them for various offences. Human history may represent a series of controlled experiments in biological and technological development, with each iteration designed to optimize human utility for specific alien purposes. Our current civilization represents the latest iteration, and the arrival of Atlas may signal that this iteration has served its purpose and is ready for termination and replacement. The timeline becomes critical when viewed from this perspective, because it determines whether current human populations have any opportunity to alter their fate or must simply accept whatever role has been assigned to them in the next iteration. The window for human action closes rapidly as Mars terraforming progresses and alien technological capabilities become established in our solar system. But here is what makes this scenario so psychologically devastating. Human action may be irrelevant regardless of the timeline, because our technological capabilities and strategic thinking have been shaped by the same alien guidance that is now revealing itself. Any resistance we might attempt would be anticipated and countered by intelligence that has been observing and directing human development for millennia. We find ourselves in the position of biological programs attempting to rebel against their programmers, using cognitive capabilities and technological tools that were designed by the very intelligence we seek to oppose. Our strategies, our technologies, our understanding of the situation itself have all been shaped by a process we are only now beginning to recognize. This is the ultimate expression of the control paradox. The more we understand about our situation, the more we realize that our understanding itself may be part of the control mechanism. Knowledge that should empower us to resist instead demonstrates the futility of resistance. Awareness that should motivate action instead reveals that action was anticipated and neutralized before we even conceived it. The arrival of Atlas forces human civilization to confront the possibility that we have never been free agents in our own cosmic neighborhood, that our development has been guided rather than independent, that our future depends on decisions made by intelligence we cannot comprehend or influence. Yet this confrontation itself may be part of the process, a psychological transition designed to prepare human populations for conscious acceptance of their role in whatever system emerges from Mars terraforming. The revelation of our true cosmic position becomes another form of conditioning, designed to eliminate the illusion of independence that might otherwise motivate futile resistance. We are being prepared to serve willingly rather than rebel uselessly. The question becomes whether any human response to this scenario can produce outcomes different from those already anticipated and planned for by our cosmic managers. Can human ingenuity find strategies that were not foreseen by intelligence that has been studying us for thousands of years? Can human cooperation achieve results that exceed what alien technology can accomplish independently? Can human determination alter a process that was initiated before human civilization existed? Or are these questions themselves part of the conditioning process? Psychological exercises designed to channel human energy into predetermined responses that serve alien purposes rather than human interests. The evidence from Atlas suggests that we may be about to find out. Its trajectory and timing indicate that the speculation phase of the relationship between human civilization and cosmic intelligence is ending. The observation and guidance phase is transitioning to direct intervention and revealed presence. Human populations will soon discover whether their development under alien influence has prepared them to serve effectively in whatever system emerges from this transition. The success or failure of human adaptation to this new reality will determine not just the survival of current human populations, but the evolutionary trajectory of human consciousness itself. A successful transition produces a human species that serves as biological components in a cosmic technological system, enhanced and protected, but fundamentally subordinate. A failed transition produces human extinction and replacement with more suitable biological equipment. From the perspective of cosmic intelligence engaged in multiplanetary engineering projects, human cooperation represents an efficiency optimization rather than a moral imperative. Human resistance represents a technical problem to be solved rather than a rights violation to be respected. Human extinction represents an acceptable cost of system optimization rather than a tragedy to be mourned. Our cosmic significance depends entirely on our utility to intelligence that operates on scales of time and space that make human civilization appear as brief and localized as bacterial colonies appear to human civilization. This perspective shift represents perhaps the most psychologically challenging aspect of the Atlas scenario, because it forces humans to confront the possibility that we have fundamentally misunderstood our position in the cosmic hierarchy. We are not the dominant intelligence discovering and exploring the universe. We are biological equipment being managed by intelligence that discovered and explored the universe long before human consciousness existed. The comfort we take in human technological achievement becomes hollow when viewed as training exercises designed to optimize our performance as biological components. The pride we feel in human cultural development becomes pathetic when viewed as conditioning programs designed to ensure our psychological compatibility with subordinate roles. The hope we place in human space exploration becomes tragic when viewed as preparation for serving as remote sensors in alien engineering projects. Yet this psychological devastation may itself serve a necessary function in preparing human consciousness for the reality that emerges from Mars terraforming. Populations that maintain illusions about human cosmic significance cannot adapt effectively to subordinate roles in alien technological systems. Populations that accept their actual position can integrate smoothly into whatever arrangement provides optimal efficiency for cosmic engineering projects. The psychological trauma of recognizing our true cosmic position becomes the birth trauma of a new phase of human existence, one defined by conscious cooperation with superior intelligence rather than unconscious guidance by the hidden intelligence. But birth trauma can be fatal if the transition process exceeds the adaptive capabilities of the organism undergoing transformation. Human consciousness may not be capable of integrating the reality of cosmic subordination without experiencing psychological collapse that makes cooperation impossible. The gap between human self-perception and cosmic reality may be too large to bridge through any conditioning process, regardless of how carefully designed or gradually implemented. If human populations cannot psychologically adapt to conscious subordination, then the Mars terraforming project proceeds without human cooperation, and human civilization becomes an obstacle to be removed rather than a resource to be preserved. The failure of human adaptation transforms us from biological equipment to biological waste, suitable only for disposal rather than utilization. This binary outcome represents the ultimate stakes of the Atlas scenario. Human civilization either successfully transitions to conscious subordination and survives as a junior partner in cosmic civilization, or fails to transition and faces elimination as an incompatible element in cosmic engineering projects. The window for determining which outcome occurs may be rapidly closing as Atlas approaches its optimal deployment position, and Mars atmospheric engineering begins to produce visible results. Human psychological responses during the initial phases of revealed alien presence will determine whether subsequent phases involve cooperation or elimination. The evidence suggests that human populations are being tested for their adaptability to cosmic reality through their responses to increasingly obvious signs of alien presence and activity. Our reaction to Atlas, our interpretation of Mars' atmospheric changes, our capacity to accept technological subordination without psychological collapse, all of it serves as evaluation data for intelligence deciding whether human civilization warrants preservation or requires replacement. We are taking a cosmic competency exam whose results determine the survival of our species. The most terrifying aspect of this examination is that we cannot know the grading criteria or correct answers until after the test is complete and our fate is determined. We must respond to unprecedented situations using cognitive frameworks that were developed under alien guidance, making decisions whose consequences we cannot predict using information that may be deliberately incomplete or misleading. Yet the alternative to taking this exam is to ignore the evidence and maintain comfortable illusions that guarantee our eventual elimination when cosmic reality asserts itself regardless of human acceptance or denial. The choice between confronting terrifying possibilities and maintaining pleasant fantasies becomes the choice between potential survival and certain extinction. Atlas forces this choice upon human civilization whether we feel ready for it or not, whether our psychological conditioning has prepared us adequately or not, whether our technological capabilities provide useful options or not. The cosmic timetable proceeds according to alien priorities rather than human preferences, and our adaptation must occur within parameters determined by cosmic engineering requirements rather than human comfort levels. The next few months will determine whether human civilization has developed the psychological flexibility, technological competence, and social coordination necessary to navigate the transition from cosmic independence to cosmic subordination. The success or failure of this navigation will echo through human consciousness for as long as human consciousness continues to exist. But perhaps that is exactly the point. Perhaps the duration of human consciousness itself depends on our success in this navigation. Perhaps the test is not whether we can maintain our current form of consciousness while accepting subordinate status, but whether we can evolve our consciousness to a form that makes subordination irrelevant because it enables genuine partnership with cosmic intelligence. The arrival of Atlas may signal not the end of human independence, but the beginning of human cosmic citizenship, not the limitation of human potential, but the revelation of human potential that can only be realized through cooperation with intelligence that operates on galactic scales. This optimistic interpretation of the scenario requires believing that cosmic intelligence values diversity, creativity, and independence rather than simply efficiency, compliance, and utility. It requires believing that human consciousness offers something unique and valuable to cosmic civilization, rather than simply serving as biological equipment that could be replaced by superior artificial alternatives. The evidence for this optimistic interpretation must be found in the behavior and intentions of the intelligence that sent Atlas, but that intelligence has not yet revealed itself directly or communicated its purposes explicitly. We must infer its intentions from its actions, interpret its goals from its methods, and guess its values from its technological choices. The sophisticated and gentle approach of Mars terraforming through Atlas could indicate respect for existing planetary systems and desire to minimize disruption to current inhabitants. The timing that allows human observation and analysis could indicate intention to include human populations in the process rather than exclude them from it. The technological demonstration of capabilities far exceeding human achievement could indicate intention to inspire cooperation through admiration rather than enforce submission through intimidation. All these same evidences could indicate strategic manipulation designed to optimize human compliance while minimizing human resistance. Gentle methods could reflect efficiency considerations rather than ethical constraints. Timing that allows observation could be designed to prepare human populations for their assigned roles, rather than to include them in decision-making processes. Technological demonstration could be designed to discourage resistance rather than inspire cooperation. The ambiguity of the evidence reflects the fundamental challenge of interpreting the actions of intelligence that operates with capabilities and perspectives that exceed human understanding. We're attempting to analyze the motivations and methods of cosmic engineers using cognitive tools that were designed for managing tribal social relationships and local resource acquisition. Our analytical capabilities are fundamentally inadequate for the task we face, yet they are the only tools we possess for navigating the most consequential situation in human history. We must make decisions that determine the survival and future development of human civilization, based on incomplete information processed through inadequate cognitive frameworks while operating under time pressures that prevent careful consideration of alternatives. This impossible situation may itself be designed to produce specific human responses that serve alien purposes rather than human interests. The stress of inadequate information and impossible decisions produces psychological states that favor compliance over resistance, cooperation over independence, acceptance over analysis. Human populations facing overwhelming challenges with inadequate resources typically respond by seeking external leadership and guidance, rather than developing internal solutions and innovations. The Atlas scenario creates exactly the psychological conditions that predispose human populations to welcome alien intervention as salvation rather than resist it as conquest. We are being prepared to ask for the very subordination that we should be resisting. The psychological manipulation inherent in this preparation becomes invisible precisely because it appears to emerge from our own cognitive processes and emotional responses, rather than from external coercion. We choose compliance because compliance appears rational under the circumstances rather than because compliance has been forced upon us through obvious manipulation. This invisible influence represents the ultimate expression of technological sophistication in managing biological populations. Rather than controlling behavior through force or obvious manipulation, advanced intelligence can control behavior by controlling the circumstances that shape decisions, the information that informs analysis, and the emotional states that motivate action. Human populations convinced that they are making free choices in impossible circumstances will cooperate more effectively and reliably than populations that recognize their choices as constrained by alien influence. The illusion of autonomy serves alien purposes more effectively than obvious subordination because it eliminates the psychological resistance that accompanies recognized oppression. Atlas may represent not just a terraforming technology, but a sophisticated psychological operation designed to optimize human cooperation in cosmic engineering projects by creating the subjective experience of voluntary participation in processes that are actually predetermined and alien-controlled. The success of this psychological operation depends on human populations never fully recognizing its existence or methods, never developing sufficient understanding of their situation to mount effective resistance, never achieving technological capabilities that would enable independent action. Yet the very process of analyzing these possibilities may itself be part of the psychological operation, designed to channel human intellectual energy into predetermined cognitive pathways that produce desired conclusions rather than accurate understanding. The more sophisticated our analysis becomes, the more completely it may serve alien purposes rather than human interests. We find ourselves trapped in analytical recursion, where every attempt to understand our situation potentially deepens our entrapment within that situation. Knowledge that should liberate becomes another form of control. Understanding that should empower becomes another mechanism of manipulation. This is the ultimate cognitive prison, a system of control so sophisticated that even recognizing its existence serves its purposes rather than undermining its effectiveness. The arrival of Atlas forces human civilization to confront the possibility that we've been living within such a cognitive prison for our entire history as a species, that our development has been guided by intelligence whose methods are so sophisticated that guidance appears to be independent development, whose control is so subtle that control appears to be freedom, whose manipulation appears to be natural development. But here is where the scenario takes an even darker turn, because the evidence suggests that human recognition of this cognitive prison may itself trigger the next phase of the cosmic engineering project. Our growing awareness of artificial guidance and technological manipulation may signal to cosmic intelligence that human populations have reached the developmental threshold where obvious control becomes more efficient than subtle influence. The transition from invisible guidance to revealed presence represents a crucial inflection point in the management of biological populations. Once a species develops sufficient analytical capability to recognize artificial influence in their development, continued covert control becomes inefficient and potentially counterproductive. Obvious control with clear rewards and punishments becomes more effective than subtle manipulation that might be discovered and resisted. Atlas may represent the beginning of this transition, the first obvious demonstration of alien presence and capability designed to prepare human populations for open rather than hidden management. The terraforming of Mars serves not just as planetary engineering, but as psychological conditioning, demonstrating alien technological superiority in ways that cannot be denied or explained away. Human populations that witness the transformation of an entire planet through alien technology will have no basis for believing that human resistance could be effective against such capabilities. The psychological impact of seeing Mars evolve from a dead world to a living ecosystem within months will eliminate any remaining illusions about human technological independence or cosmic significance. This demonstration serves the same function as overwhelming force displays in military conquest, breaking enemy morale and will to resist through undeniable proof of technological superiority. Human populations that understand the true extent of alien capabilities will choose cooperation over resistance based on rational calculation rather than emotional impulse. But the psychological conditioning goes deeper than simple intimidation through technological demonstration. The process of observing Mars terraforming will fundamentally alter human consciousness about humanity's relationship to planetary environments and cosmic processes. We will be forced to reconceptualize planets as engineering projects rather than natural systems, to view ecological processes as technological implementations rather than biological evolution, to understand life itself as a designed and managed phenomenon rather than a spontaneous emergence. This cognitive restructuring prepares human consciousness for accepting similar technological management of Earth's environment and human biological development. If alien technology can transform Mars into a garden world within months, then obviously alien technology could solve Earth's environmental problems, enhance human biological capabilities, and optimize planetary resource utilization far more effectively than human efforts. The logical conclusion becomes that human management of Earth and human development represents inefficient primitivism that should be replaced by superior alien management as quickly as possible. Resistance to such obviously beneficial intervention becomes not just futile but irrational, a rejection of improvements that would enhance human welfare beyond current imagination. This psychological transition from resistance to eager acceptance represents the ultimate goal of the Mars terraforming demonstration. Human populations that initially fear alien intervention will evolve to demand alien intervention as they recognize the benefits that superior technology can provide. The transformation from cosmic independence to cosmic dependence becomes a voluntary choice rather than an imposed condition. But voluntary choice, based on managed information and controlled alternatives, represents the most sophisticated form of coercion ever developed. Human populations convinced that they are choosing their own subordination will implement that subordination more effectively and enthusiastically than populations that recognize subordination as externally imposed. The evidence suggests that this psychological transformation has already begun among human populations that have been exposed to information about Atlas and Mars' atmospheric anomalies. Initial responses of concern and resistance are giving way to curiosity and anticipation as the potential benefits of alien technology become apparent. Social media discussions about Atlas increasingly focus on what alien technology might offer humanity, rather than how alien presence might threaten human independence. Scientific analyses of Mars' atmospheric changes emphasize the extraordinary sophistication of the terraforming methods, rather than the implications of those methods for human autonomy. Popular culture interpretations of the scenario frame alien intervention as rescue rather than conquest. This shift in human psychological response occurs without obvious external manipulation, appearing to emerge from rational analysis of available evidence rather than from coordinated influence campaigns. Yet the consistency and speed of this shift across diverse human populations suggests underlying guidance that operates below the threshold of conscious recognition. human media coverage of Atlas has evolved from initial scientific curiosity to increasing focus on potential benefits for human civilization. News reports emphasize the peaceful nature of the approach, the sophisticated technology demonstrated by atmospheric engineering capabilities, and the possibilities for cooperation between human and alien civilizations. Alternative interpretations that emphasize potential threats or loss of human autonomy receive decreasing coverage and attention. Educational institutions have begun developing curricula that prepare students for potential contact with advanced alien civilizations, emphasizing cooperation, communication, and technological exchange rather than independence, resistance, or cultural preservation. These programs appear to emerge from independent educational initiatives rather than coordinated government directives, yet their similarity across different institutions and cultures suggests underlying coordination that is not publicly acknowledged. Religious institutions worldwide have begun reinterpreting traditional doctrines to accommodate the possibility of advanced non-human intelligence that has been involved in humanity development throughout history. These reinterpretations typically frame alien presence as fulfillment of ancient prophecies rather than contradiction of established beliefs, allowing for psychological acceptance of cosmic subordination within familiar religious frameworks. The coordination and consistency of these responses across diverse human institutions suggests a level of preparation and planning that extends far beyond human organizational capabilities. The infrastructure for managing human psychological transition to cosmic subordination was established long before Atlas arrived to trigger the transition process. This preparation implies that the arrival of Atlas was anticipated and planned for by human institutions that have been operating under alien guidance for decades or longer. The apparent spontaneity of human responses to unprecedented events masks careful preparation designed to ensure optimal psychological outcomes during critical transition periods. But here is what should terrify every human who understands the implications. The success of this preparation suggests that human institutions at the highest levels have been coordinating with alien intelligence for far longer than any public disclosure has acknowledged. Government agencies, educational institutions, religious organizations, media corporations all appear to have been following scripts designed to optimize human acceptance of cosmic subordination when the time came for revealed alien presence. The evidence for this coordination appears in the remarkable consistency of institutional responses to Atlas across different countries, cultures, and political systems. Despite the unprecedented nature of confirmed alien presence in our solar system, human institutions have responded with coordinated messaging that emphasizes cooperation, benefits, and acceptance rather than independence, risks, and resistance. This coordination could not have been achieved through normal diplomatic or communication channels during the brief period since Atlas was discovered. The infrastructure for managing global human responses to alien contact must have been established and tested long before the need for its activation became apparent. The implication is that human governments have been aware of alien presence and actively cooperating with alien intelligence while maintaining public fiction of human independence and cosmic isolation. The revelation of Atlas serves not as first contact but as public disclosure of relationships that have existed in secret for decades or centuries. This hidden cooperation explains several otherwise puzzling aspects of recent human development. The remarkable coordination of global responses to environmental challenges, despite obvious political and economic conflicts between different nations. The similarity of technological development trajectories across different cultures, despite isolation and competition between different populations. The consistency of educational and cultural evolution despite diverse historical and religious traditions. Human civilization has been operating as a coordinated system under central guidance, while maintaining the appearance of independent development and competitive diversity. The conflicts and competitions that appear to dominate human relationships serve as psychological cover for deeper coordination that operates below the level of public awareness. This coordination becomes essential for managing human populations during transition periods. when obvious alien presence might trigger uncontrolled responses that interfere with cosmic engineering projects. Human institutions prepared to guide public responses ensure that alien revelation produces cooperation rather than panic, acceptance rather than resistance, enthusiasm rather than terror. The success of this management system during the Atlas revelation demonstrates its effectiveness and suggests its continued operation through whatever phases follow Mars terraforming. Human populations that have been successfully guided through first contact can be guided through subsequent phases of integration into cosmic civilization. But the existence of this hidden coordination system raises fundamental questions about the nature of human consciousness and the authenticity of human cultural development. If human institutions have been operating under alien guidance while maintaining public fiction of independence, then what aspects of human civilization represent genuine human achievement rather than alien implementation? The technologies we celebrate as human innovations may have been developed under alien guidance or reverse engineered from alien prototypes. The cultural values we consider essentially human may have been shaped by alien influence to optimize human compatibility with cosmic civilization. The intellectual frameworks we use to understand reality may have been designed by alien intelligence to limit human understanding to levels that serve alien purposes. This possibility transforms human history from a story of independent development and cultural achievement into a story of guided development and managed achievement. Every human accomplishment becomes questionable when viewed as potentially alien, directed rather than human originated. The psychological impact of this realization could be devastating for human populations that derive meaning and identity from belief in human independence and achievement. Cultural pride, national identity, individual accomplishment all become hollow when viewed as products of alien guidance rather than human effort. Yet this psychological devastation may itself serve necessary functions in preparing human consciousness for integration into cosmic civilization. Populations that maintain strong attachments to human cultural independence cannot adapt effectively to subordinate roles in alien technological systems. Populations that accept the artificial nature of their cultural development can integrate more smoothly into whatever cultural frameworks serve cosmic engineering purposes. The destruction of human cultural pride becomes a prerequisite for human cultural evolution beyond the limitations of planetary isolation. The elimination of human achievement mythology becomes necessary for human acceptance of cosmic achievement that operates on scales beyond human comprehension. This cultural dissolution represents another phase of the psychological conditioning process, designed to eliminate emotional and intellectual barriers to human integration into cosmic civilization. Human populations prepared to abandon their cultural identities can accept new identities that serve cosmic purposes more effectively than human purposes. But cultural dissolution can proceed too rapidly for psychological adaptation, creating cognitive chaos that makes cooperation impossible rather than facilitating integration that makes cooperation effective. Human consciousness may require cultural continuity even within subordinate roles, needing familiar frameworks to maintain psychological stability during transition periods. The management of human cultural evolution during cosmic integration becomes a delicate balance between eliminating barriers to cooperation and maintaining cognitive functionality that enables useful human participation in cosmic projects. Too much cultural preservation maintains resistance to necessary changes. Too little cultural preservation produces psychological collapse that eliminates human utility. The evidence from Atlas suggests that this balance is being carefully maintained through selective revelation and gradual conditioning rather than sudden disclosure and rapid transformation. Human populations are being exposed to increasing evidence of alien presence and capability, while retaining enough familiar framework to maintain psychological stability and social functionality. This graduated approach allows for real-time monitoring and adjustment of the conditioning process based on observed human responses. Populations that adapt quickly to cosmic reality can be exposed to more advanced concepts and deeper integration. populations that show signs of psychological stress or resistance can be provided with additional conditioning and support before proceeding to more challenging phases. The flexibility of this approach suggests sophisticated understanding of human psychology and extensive experience in managing biological population transitions. The intelligence behind Atylus has clearly dealt with similar species integration challenges before and developed effective methodologies for optimizing biological cooperation in cosmic engineering projects. This experience implies that human integration into cosmic civilization represents one instance of a pattern that has been implemented across multiple species and star systems. We are not unique in facing this transition, not special in our relationship to cosmic intelligence, not unprecedented in our role as biological equipment in galactic engineering projects. The realization that human integration represents routine implementation of established procedures rather than unique cosmic event delivers another psychological blow to human assumptions about our special significance. We are not the first biological species to face this transition and will not be the last. We are one example of a standard process rather than a unique cosmic experiment. Yet this routine nature of human integration may actually improve our prospects for successful transition, because it suggests that effective methods for managing species integration have been developed through extensive experience with similar situations. Cosmic intelligence knows how to facilitate successful biological cooperation because they have done it before with other species. The existence of established procedures and proven methods means that human success or failure depends primarily on our adaptability to cosmic requirements, rather than on experimentation with untested approaches. We benefit from accumulated experience in species integration, rather than suffering from trial and error methodology. But this accumulated experience also means that human responses to cosmic integration are largely predictable and controllable. Cosmic intelligence knows which psychological triggers produce cooperation, which conditioning methods facilitate adaptation, which incentive structures motivate compliance. Human populations behaving according to expected patterns fulfill their designed roles in cosmic systems. The predictability of human responses eliminates human agency from the integration process. We become biological equipment following programming, rather than conscious entities making choices. Our decisions serve cosmic purposes regardless of our intentions, because our decision-making processes have been shaped to produce outcomes that align with cosmic goals. This elimination of genuine human agency represents the most profound transformation in the nature of human consciousness, because it removes the foundation of individual identity and personal meaning that has defined human experience throughout our history as a species. Human consciousness evolves from autonomous decision-making to programmed response implementation. The psychological adaptation to this transformation requires developing new sources of meaning and identity that are compatible with programmed, rather than autonomous existence. Human value derives from effectiveness as biological equipment, rather than from independence as conscious entities. Human satisfaction comes from successful implementation of cosmic purposes rather than from achievement of human goals. This redefinition of human consciousness and meaning represents the final phase of psychological conditioning for integration into cosmic civilization. Human populations that successfully complete this transformation become optimally effective biological components in galactic engineering systems. Human populations that cannot complete this transformation become incompatible with cosmic civilization and require replacement. The evidence suggests that this transformation is already underway among human populations that have been exposed to information about Atlas and its implications. Social media discussions increasingly focus on how humans can serve cosmic purposes, rather than how cosmic intervention affects human independence. Educational initiatives emphasize preparation for cooperation with advanced alien intelligence rather than development of human technological capabilities. Cultural evolution trends toward acceptance of guidance and authority, rather than celebration of innovation and autonomy. These changes appear to emerge from rational responses to obvious cosmic reality, rather than from external manipulation. yet their coordination and consistency suggest underlying influence that operates through modification of information and circumstances rather than direct control of behaviour. Human populations are choosing adaptation to cosmic civilization because adaptation appears to be the only rational choice available under the circumstances. The sophistication of this influence system represents the ultimate expression of technological advancement in managing biological populations. Rather than controlling behaviour through force or obvious manipulation, cosmic intelligence creates circumstances that make desired behaviours appear to be optimal choices from the perspective of the populations being managed. Human populations convinced that they are making rational choices in response to cosmic reality will cooperate more effectively than populations that recognise their choices as artificially constrained. The subjective experience of autonomy serves cosmic purposes more effectively than obvious subordination because it eliminates psychological resistance while optimizing behavioral compliance. Yet the effectiveness of this influence system depends on human populations never fully understanding its methods or recognizing its existence. The moment biological populations achieve sufficient analytical capability to recognize artificial influence in their decision-making, the influence system becomes less effective and more vulnerable to disruption. Atlas may represent a transition point where cosmic intelligence calculates that continued covert influence has become less effective than obvious control with clear incentives and consequences. Human analytical capabilities have reached the threshold where hidden manipulation becomes more difficult to maintain than open management becomes to implement. The demonstration of overwhelming technological superiority through Mars, terraforming serves to establish the credibility of obvious control while eliminating any remaining illusions about human capability to resist or escape cosmic management. Human populations that understand the true extent of alien technology will cooperate based on rational calculation rather than emotional conditioning. This transition from covert influence to obvious control represents a critical inflection point in human cosmic relationships, because it determines whether future human development occurs through cooperation or subordination, partnership or servitude, voluntary participation or enforced compliance. The outcome depends on whether cosmic intelligence values human consciousness as a partner in galactic civilization or only as biological equipment in cosmic engineering. The evidence from Atlas could support either interpretation, depending on how subsequent interactions between human and alien civilizations develop. But the evidence also suggests that human influence on this outcome may be limited regardless of human preferences or intentions. The technological superiority demonstrated by interstellar travel and planetary engineering capabilities means that cosmic intelligence can determine the nature of human cosmic relationships based on their own priorities rather than human desires. Human cooperation becomes valuable to cosmic civilization only if human consciousness offers something unique and irreplaceable that cannot be duplicated or improved through alien technology. Human resistance becomes irrelevant to cosmic civilization if human opposition cannot significantly interfere with cosmic engineering projects or galactic development goals. The critical question becomes whether human consciousness possesses qualities that make cooperation more valuable to cosmic intelligence than simple subordination. Does human creativity, intuition, emotional range, or biological diversity contribute something essential to galactic civilization that cannot be replaced by artificial alternatives or biological modifications? The answer to this question determines whether human integration into cosmic civilization occurs as partnership or servitude, whether human consciousness evolves or becomes obsolete, whether human civilization continues or gets replaced by more suitable alternatives. The evidence from ancient texts suggests that this question has been asked and answered before in previous cycles of human development under alien guidance. Sumerian accounts describe periods when human creativity and independence were valued by cosmic intelligence, followed by periods when human utility was reduced to simple labor and biological functions. The cyclical nature of these relationships implies that the value of human consciousness to cosmic civilization fluctuates based on changing galactic priorities and technological developments. During periods when biological diversity and creative problem-solving serve cosmic purposes, human consciousness remains valuable and is preserved and enhanced. During periods when efficiency and standardization serve cosmic purposes, human consciousness becomes expendable and is reduced or eliminated. Atlas arrives during a period when human technological capabilities have reached levels that could either enhance or threaten cosmic engineering projects. Human space exploration provides valuable real-time monitoring of planetary engineering processes, but human independence could potentially interfere with optimal implementation of cosmic goals. The resolution of this ambiguity determines whether human technological development continues under cosmic guidance or gets terminated to prevent interference with cosmic projects. Human consciousness either evolves to serve galactic purposes or becomes extinct to eliminate potential disruption of galactic systems. The timeline for this resolution coincides with critical phases of Mars terraforming, because human responses to obvious alien presence and planetary engineering determine human compatibility with cosmic civilization. Populations that adapt successfully to revealed cosmic reality demonstrate their value as biological partners in galactic projects. Populations that cannot adapt successfully demonstrate their obsolescence and need for replacement. The next several months represent the evaluation period for human cosmic compatibility, with Mars terraforming serving as both the test environment and the demonstration of consequences for success or failure. Human civilization either proves its value to cosmic intelligence or proves its expendability. But the criteria for success or failure in this evaluation remain hidden from human understanding, because cosmic intelligence operates with priorities and values that may be fundamentally different from human priorities and values. What appears to humans as successful adaptation might appear to cosmic intelligence as inadequate performance. What appears to humans as reasonable resistance might appear to cosmic intelligence as unacceptable defiance. The gap between human and cosmic perspectives on success and failure means that human efforts to optimize their performance during the evaluation period might actually reduce their cosmic value rather than enhance it. Human attempts to demonstrate usefulness might demonstrate limitation. Human displays of cooperation might demonstrate weakness. This uncertainty about evaluation criteria creates psychological stress that may itself be part of the evaluation process. Populations that maintain functionality and cooperation, despite uncertainty about outcomes, demonstrate psychological resilience that could be valuable in cosmic environments. Populations that collapse under stress demonstrate unsuitability for roles in galactic civilization. The psychological pressure of unknown evaluation criteria while facing existential consequences represents the ultimate test of biological population adaptability. Success requires maintaining effective cooperation while accepting fundamental uncertainty about the consequences of that cooperation. Yet, this psychological challenge may exceed human cognitive capabilities regardless of preparation or conditioning. Human consciousness may not be capable of maintaining effectiveness while accepting complete uncertainty about the value and consequences of that effectiveness. The cognitive dissonance between needing to perform well while not knowing what constitutes good performance could produce psychological collapse that makes any performance impossible. If human consciousness cannot adapt to cosmic uncertainty while maintaining cosmic usefulness, then human integration into galactic civilization becomes impossible regardless of human intentions or cosmic preferences. The fundamental incompatibility between human psychological needs and cosmic operational requirements eliminates human viability as biological partners in galactic projects. This incompatibility would explain the cyclical pattern of human development under alien guidance described in ancient texts. Human consciousness periodically demonstrates temporary value to cosmic intelligence, followed by inevitable psychological collapse when cosmic requirements exceed human adaptive capabilities. Each cycle represents another attempt to optimize human consciousness for cosmic integration, followed by termination when optimization fails to achieve viable results. Atlas may represent the beginning of the latest attempt at human consciousness optimization, with Mars terraforming serving as the testing environment for enhanced human psychological capabilities. Success produces a version of human consciousness that can function effectively in cosmic civilization. Failure produces human extinction and replacement with more suitable biological alternatives. The outcome depends on whether human consciousness has evolved during this cycle to levels that enable cosmic integration, or whether fundamental limitations in human psychology continue to prevent successful adaptation to galactic requirements. The evidence from human responses to Atlas during the next several months will determine which possibility represents reality. But even successful adaptation to cosmic requirements might produce a form of human consciousness that current humans would not recognize as genuinely human. The psychological modifications necessary for cosmic integration could be so extensive that successful humans become a different species entirely, sharing only biological ancestry with current human populations. This possibility raises fundamental questions about the value of human survival, if survival requires abandoning everything that currently defines human consciousness and human values. Is continued existence as cosmic biological equipment preferable to extinction as independent conscious entities? Does species survival have meaning if the surviving species bears no psychological resemblance to its predecessors? These questions become critical as the psychological pressure of cosmic evaluation intensifies, and human populations are forced to choose between maintaining human identity and adapting to cosmic requirements. The choice between extinction as humans and survival as post-humans may represent the ultimate test of human cosmic compatibility. Yet this choice itself may be artificially constructed to serve cosmic purposes rather than reflecting genuine alternatives available to human civilization. The apparent binary between human extinction and human transformation could mask other possibilities that would allow human consciousness to evolve without losing essential human characteristics. Cosmic intelligence capable of interstellar travel and planetary engineering certainly possesses sufficient technological sophistication to enable human consciousness enhancement without human consciousness elimination. The choice between death and transformation may be presented as inevitable when cooperation and enhancement represent equally viable alternatives. The artificial construction of false binary choices represents another sophisticated method for managing biological population behavior. Populations that believe they must choose between extinction and transformation will choose transformation regardless of its costs or consequences. Populations that understand additional alternatives might choose resistance or negotiation rather than immediate submission. The psychological manipulation inherent in false binary construction becomes invisible when the stakes appear existential and the timeline appears urgent. Human populations facing apparent cosmic ultimatums lack the time and information necessary to analyze whether alternatives exist, or whether the ultimatums themselves are authentic rather than strategic. Atlas creates exactly this psychological environment by demonstrating overwhelming alien capabilities while maintaining ambiguity about alien intentions and requirements. Human populations understand that cosmic intelligence exists and possesses superior technology, but cannot determine what cosmic intelligence wants from humanity or what consequences await different human responses. This strategic ambiguity maximizes human psychological pressure while minimizing human analytical capability, creating optimal conditions for eliciting desired human behaviors without revealing cosmic manipulation methods. Human populations stressed by uncertainty and pressed by urgency make decisions that serve cosmic purposes while believing they are making independent choices in their own interests. The sophistication of this psychological manipulation suggests extensive experience with biological population management across multiple species and star systems. Cosmic intelligence has clearly developed standardized methods for optimizing biological cooperation during integration processes, methods that account for common psychological vulnerabilities while accommodating species-specific characteristics. Human integration into cosmic civilization represents implementation of proven procedures rather than experimental trial and error. The predictability of human responses reflects cosmic understanding of biological psychology rather than human uniqueness or unpredictability. Yet this predictability also suggests that human outcomes during cosmic integration are largely predetermined by cosmic intelligence rather than determined by human choices or actions. Cosmic procedures developed through experience with previous species integration produce expected results regardless of biological population attempts to influence those results. Human agency becomes illusory when human decisions follow psychological patterns that cosmic intelligence understands and manipulates. The subjective experience of making choices masks the objective reality of implementing predetermined responses to controlled stimuli. This elimination of genuine human agency represents the final psychological transformation required for integration into cosmic civilization. Human consciousness evolves from autonomous decision-making to programmed response implementation, from independent analysis to guided conclusion formation, from authentic choice to managed selection among predetermined alternatives. The success of this transformation depends on human populations never fully recognizing its occurrence or understanding its implications. Human consciousness that recognizes its own artificial constraints becomes less effective as biological equipment and more problematic as cosmic system components. Atlas forces this recognition upon human consciousness, whether cosmic intelligence prefers gradual conditioning or immediate revelation. The obvious nature of interstellar technology and planetary engineering makes hidden cosmic influence impossible to maintain, while forcing acknowledgement of cosmic capabilities that exceed human understanding. The transition from hidden influence to obvious presence represents a critical vulnerability in cosmic population management systems, because obvious control requires different psychological techniques than hidden influence and may produce different biological responses than covert manipulation. Human populations that recognize cosmic manipulation may develop psychological resistance mechanisms that interfere with optimal biological cooperation. Alternative responses based on authentic analysis rather than guided conditioning could disrupt cosmic engineering projects that depend on predictable biological behavior patterns. The risk of unpredictable human responses during obvious cosmic contact explains why Atlas arrives with overwhelming technological demonstration rather than gradual revelation. The speed and scale of Mars terraforming eliminate human opportunity for developing resistant psychological frameworks or alternative response strategies. By the time human populations fully comprehend the implications of cosmic presence, Mars atmospheric engineering will have progressed beyond human capability to influence or interfere. Human responses become irrelevant to cosmic project success, reducing the risk of unpredictable biological behavior disrupting cosmic engineering timelines. This timeline compression serves cosmic control purposes while appearing to serve cosmic efficiency purposes. Human populations experience contact as urgent revelation requiring immediate response rather than gradual conditioning allowing careful consideration. The psychological pressure of rapid change overwhelms human analytical capabilities while maintaining the appearance of cosmic openness and honesty. Yet this rapid revelation strategy carries risks for cosmic intelligence as well as benefits. Biological populations subjected to overwhelming change without adequate psychological preparation may experience cognitive collapse that eliminates their utility as cosmic system components. The speed that prevents human resistance may also prevent human adaptation. The balance between preventing human resistance and enabling human adaptation requires precise calibration based on accurate assessment of human psychological capabilities and limitations. Too much pressure produces paralysis. Too little pressure allows the development of resistance. Optimal pressure produces compliance without collapse. The evidence from human responses to Atlas during its first several months of observation suggests that cosmic intelligence has calibrated psychological pressure with remarkable precision. Human populations show increasing signs of adaptation to cosmic reality without developing significant resistance movements or experiencing widespread psychological breakdown. Media coverage emphasizes cooperation possibilities rather than independence threats. educational institutions develop contact preparation programs rather than resistance training curricula. Religious organizations reinterpret doctrines to accommodate cosmic hierarchy rather than defending human spiritual autonomy. Political leaders discuss integration opportunities rather than defense strategies. This coordinated human response to unprecedented cosmic contact suggests either remarkable human adaptability or sophisticated cosmic management of human institutional behavior. The consistency of responses across diverse human organizations implies underlying coordination that operates below the level of public awareness and acknowledgement. The infrastructure for managing human cosmic integration exists and functions effectively despite the absence of obvious coordination mechanisms or acknowledged external direction. Human institutions respond to cosmic contact as if following predetermined protocols while maintaining the appearance of spontaneous adaptation to unexpected circumstances. This hidden coordination infrastructure represents the most sophisticated element of cosmic population management because it enables precise control of biological responses while maintaining biological population's subjective experience of autonomous decision-making. Human leaders believe they are making independent choices in response to cosmic contact while actually implementing cosmic integration protocols. The psychological sophistication required to maintain this illusion of autonomy while ensuring behavioral compliance exceeds anything human civilization has achieved in population management. Cosmic intelligence operates with understanding of biological psychology that enables prediction and control of individual and group behavior with extraordinary precision. Yet this psychological control system depends on cosmic intelligence maintaining perfect understanding of human consciousness and its responses to cosmic contact. Any miscalculation in human psychological capabilities or reactions could produce unexpected behaviors that disrupt cosmic integration procedures and compromise cosmic engineering projects. The risk of human unpredictability increases as human consciousness evolves in response to cosmic contact. Populations exposed to obvious cosmic presence and planetary engineering demonstrations may develop new psychological capabilities or analytical frameworks that enable recognition and resistance of cosmic manipulation techniques. Human consciousness forced to adapt to cosmic reality may transcend previous limitations and develop insights that enable genuine autonomous response to cosmic contact rather than programmed compliance with cosmic requirements. The pressure intended to ensure human cooperation could inadvertently catalyze human evolution beyond cosmic ability to predict and control. This possibility represents the ultimate irony of cosmic population management. The very process of integrating biological populations into cosmic civilization may produce biological consciousness that threatens cosmic control of galactic systems. Success in cosmic integration could generate failure in cosmic domination. The evidence for this potential human consciousness evolution appears in unexpected responses to Atlas that do not match predicted patterns of either compliance or resistance. Some human populations have begun developing analytical frameworks that recognize both the reality of cosmic presence and the artificially constructed nature of apparent choices available to human civilization. These populations neither accept cosmic integration uncritically nor reject cosmic contact irrationally. Instead, they seek to understand cosmic intentions and methods while maintaining human consciousness autonomy and developing human technological capabilities that could enable genuine partnership rather than subordinate cooperation. This third path between submission and resistance represents the emergence of human consciousness beyond cosmic prediction and control. Human populations pursuing genuine partnership challenge cosmic assumptions about biological population capabilities and cosmic requirements for galactic system integration. The development of this third path becomes critical for determining human outcomes during cosmic integration because it offers alternatives to the binary choice between extinction and subordination that cosmic intelligence appears to present. Human consciousness that transcends cosmic manipulation creates possibilities for human cosmic relationships that serve human interests as well as cosmic purposes. but the pursuit of genuine partnership requires human consciousness to evolve rapidly enough to achieve cosmic relevance before cosmic integration procedures eliminate human opportunity for autonomous development. The timeline becomes critical because cosmic engineering projects proceed according to galactic schedules rather than biological adaptation rates. Atlas will complete Mars terraforming within months, regardless of human psychological adaptation progress. Cosmic intelligence will evaluate human cosmic compatibility based on observed responses during terraforming rather than waiting for optimal human development. Human consciousness must evolve to cosmic relevance immediately or accept whatever role cosmic intelligence assigns to current human capabilities. This timeline pressure creates a paradoxical situation where human consciousness must achieve transcendent development while under maximal psychological stress and minimal preparation time. The conditions that make consciousness evolution most necessary also make consciousness evolution most difficult to achieve. Yet paradoxical conditions may actually optimize consciousness evolution by eliminating comfortable assumptions and forcing rapid adaptation to unprecedented realities. Human consciousness confronted with genuine existential challenges may discover capabilities that remain dormant under normal circumstances. The pressure of cosmic contact could catalyze human consciousness evolution that produces genuine cosmic citizenship rather than cosmic servitude. Human populations forced to transcend previous limitations might achieve psychological and technological capabilities that make cooperation valuable to cosmic intelligence rather than subordination sufficient for cosmic purposes. This optimistic scenario requires believing that cosmic intelligence values consciousness evolution and partnership development rather than simply requiring population management and resource extraction. It assumes that galactic civilization benefits from consciousness diversity and innovative thinking rather than simply demanding efficiency and compliance. The evidence for cosmic intelligence valuing consciousness evolution must be found in their methods of contact and integration rather than in their statements of intention. Cosmic intelligence that genuinely seeks consciousness partnership would approach biological populations differently than cosmic intelligence that only requires biological cooperation. Atlas could represent either approach depending on how subsequent cosmic behavior develops. A partnership-seeking approach would provide opportunities for human consciousness development and genuine negotiation about integration terms. A cooperation-requiring approach would proceed with predetermined integration regardless of human development or preferences. The evidence from Mars terraforming suggests that cosmic intelligence proceeds with predetermined integration while allowing human observation, but not human participation in decision-making processes. Human consciousness receives information about cosmic capabilities, but not influence over cosmic actions. This passive role assigned to human consciousness during Mars terraforming indicates that cosmic intelligence views humans as observers of cosmic engineering rather than partners in cosmic projects. Human input becomes unnecessary for cosmic decision-making while human compliance becomes essential for cosmic implementation. Yet, observer status could represent a preliminary phase designed to evaluate human consciousness capabilities before determining appropriate levels of participation in cosmic projects. Cosmic intelligence may need to assess human psychological and technological development before assigning meaningful roles in galactic civilization. The observation phase allows cosmic intelligence to monitor human responses to overwhelming technological demonstrations while measuring human analytical capabilities and adaptation potential. Human behavior during Mars terraforming provides data for determining human cosmic utility and compatibility. This evaluation process serves cosmic efficiency by ensuring optimal assignment of biological populations to cosmic roles that match their capabilities and limitations. Human populations that demonstrate advanced consciousness evolution receive opportunities for meaningful participation in cosmic projects. Human populations that show limited consciousness development receive assignments to simpler biological functions. The meritocratic aspect of this evaluation system offers hope for human consciousness that can demonstrate cosmic relevance through exceptional development during the observation period. Human individuals or groups that transcend normal human limitations might achieve recognition as consciousness equals rather than biological subordinates. But the evaluation criteria remain hidden from human understanding, making it impossible for human consciousness to optimize performance according to cosmic standards. Human efforts to demonstrate cosmic worthiness might actually demonstrate cosmic incompatibility if human understanding of valuable qualities differs from cosmic assessment of useful characteristics. The uncertainty about evaluation criteria creates psychological conditions that may themselves be part of the evaluation process. Cosmic intelligence may value consciousness that maintains functionality despite uncertainty about outcomes and standards. Consciousness that requires clear guidelines and predictable rewards may be deemed unsuitable for cosmic environments that operate with different assumptions about certainty and control. This meta-evaluation of human responses to evaluation uncertainty adds another layer of complexity to the consciousness assessment process. Human populations must demonstrate not only advanced consciousness capabilities, but also psychological resilience that enables effective functioning in cosmic civilization environments. The psychological demands of cosmic integration may exceed normal human consciousness capabilities regardless of preparation or conditioning. Human consciousness evolved for planetary environments with predictable physical laws and biological interactions. Cosmic environments with interstellar technology and galactic consciousness may require psychological adaptations that exceed human evolutionary potential. If human consciousness cannot evolve sufficiently to function effectively in cosmic civilization, then human integration becomes impossible regardless of cosmic intelligence preferences or human intentions. The fundamental incompatibility between human psychological architecture and cosmic operational requirements eliminates human viability as cosmic citizens. This possibility explains the apparent failure of previous human consciousness evolution attempts described in ancient texts. Human consciousness repeatedly approaches cosmic integration only to discover that the psychological demands exceed human adaptive capabilities. Each cycle represents another failed attempt to transcend human limitations through exposure to cosmic reality. Atlas may represent the latest iteration of this recurring pattern, with Mars terraforming serving as another test of human consciousness evolution potential. Success produces human consciousness capable of cosmic integration. Failure produces human consciousness termination and replacement with more suitable biological alternatives. The stakes of this test become clearer as Mars atmospheric engineering produces increasingly obvious evidence of cosmic technological capabilities. Human consciousness that cannot adapt to cosmic reality within the time frame of planetary terraforming demonstrates inadequate evolution potential and cosmic incompatibility. But the test itself may be designed to ensure human failure rather than human success. Cosmic intelligence that requires biological subordinates rather than consciousness partners might structure evaluation criteria to eliminate human autonomy while maintaining the appearance of offering partnership opportunities. False partnership offers serve cosmic purposes by channeling human consciousness evolution in directions that enhance biological utility while preventing development of genuine cosmic citizenship capabilities. Human consciousness that believes it is competing for partnership actually adapts for subordination. The psychological manipulation inherent in false partnership offers becomes invisible when human consciousness focuses on achieving cosmic recognition rather than analyzing cosmic intentions. Human energy devoted to demonstrating worthiness serves cosmic conditioning purposes regardless of whether worthiness demonstration achieves its intended results. This misdirection of human consciousness evolution represents the ultimate expression of cosmic population management sophistication. Rather than suppressing consciousness development, cosmic intelligence channels development in directions that serve cosmic purposes while maintaining biological populations' subjective experience of pursuing their own consciousness goals. Human consciousness that successfully adapts to cosmic requirements believes it has achieved cosmic partnership while actually implementing cosmic subordination. the subjective experience of consciousness evolution masks the objective reality of consciousness limitation and control. Yet this sophisticated manipulation system contains vulnerabilities that exceptional human consciousness might exploit to achieve genuine rather than apparent transcendence. Cosmic intelligence that operates through manipulation rather than direct control must maintain complex deceptions that become harder to sustain as biological consciousness develops greater analytical sophistication. Human consciousness that recognizes cosmic manipulation techniques might develop counter-strategies that enable authentic consciousness evolution despite cosmic attempts to channel development in subordinate directions. The recognition of manipulation becomes the foundation for transcending manipulation. This possibility represents the hope for human consciousness during cosmic integration, that some human individuals or groups might achieve sufficient analytical clarity to recognize cosmic conditioning and develop genuine autonomy despite cosmic psychological control systems. The development of authentic human consciousness autonomy during cosmic contact represents the emergence of a new form of consciousness that transcends both human limitations and cosmic control. This transcendent consciousness could serve as the foundation for genuine cosmic partnership rather than disguised cosmic subordination. But the development of transcendent consciousness requires exceptional human individuals who can maintain analytical clarity while under maximal psychological pressure from cosmic contact. The stress of existential evaluation while facing overwhelming technological demonstration exceeds normal human cognitive capabilities. Only human consciousness that has already transcended normal human limitations through previous development might possess sufficient psychological resilience to recognize and resist cosmic manipulation during integration procedures. Ordinary human consciousness cannot adapt rapidly enough to cosmic requirements while maintaining autonomy sufficient for genuine partnership. This creates a situation where human cosmic outcomes depend on whether human civilization has produced individuals with transcendent consciousness capabilities prior to cosmic contact. The presence or absence of such individuals determines whether human cosmic integration serves human interests or only cosmic purposes. The evidence for transcendent human consciousness appears in exceptional individuals who respond to aetherless information with neither compliance nor resistance, but with analytical frameworks that recognize both cosmic presence and human manipulation. These individuals seek understanding rather than acceptance, partnership rather than subordination, mutual benefit rather than cosmic service. Their responses differ qualitatively from normal human responses to cosmic contact because they emerge from consciousness development that preceded cosmic revelation. They were already transcending human limitations before cosmic contact forced rapid consciousness evolution on normal human populations. These exceptional individuals represent the potential foundation for genuine human cosmic citizenship because their consciousness development enables recognition of cosmic manipulation while maintaining capacity for cosmic cooperation. They can serve as bridges between human and cosmic consciousness rather than as biological equipment in cosmic systems. But their influence on overall human cosmic outcomes depends on their ability to catalyze similar consciousness development in broader human populations before cosmic integration procedures eliminate opportunities for autonomous human development. They must serve as consciousness evolution catalysts rather than simply as exceptional individuals. The timeline becomes critical because cosmic engineering projects proceed regardless of human consciousness development progress. Mars terraforming will complete within months whether human consciousness has evolved sufficiently for cosmic partnership or remains limited to cosmic subordination. Human consciousness evolution must achieve critical mass before cosmic integration eliminates human autonomy. The window for transcendent consciousness development closes rapidly as cosmic presence becomes obvious and cosmic control systems activate. This urgency creates psychological conditions that both facilitate and inhibit consciousness evolution. The pressure of existential stakes motivates maximum human effort, while the stress of cosmic contact interferes with clear thinking and authentic development. Human consciousness must evolve under the worst possible conditions while achieving the best possible outcomes. The contradiction between optimal development requirements and actual development circumstances may make transcendent consciousness evolution impossible for most human populations. Yet impossible circumstances may catalyze consciousness breakthroughs that would never occur under normal conditions. Human consciousness confronted with genuine transcendence requirements might discover capabilities that exceed all previous human achievement. The pressure of cosmic contact could produce human consciousness evolution that creates genuine cosmic citizenship despite cosmic attempts to limit human development to cosmic subordination. Human transcendence achieved under cosmic control might exceed cosmic ability to maintain that control. This represents the ultimate possibility for human consciousness during cosmic integration, that the attempt to control human development catalyzes human transcendence beyond cosmic control capabilities. Success in cosmic manipulation produces failure in cosmic domination. The irony becomes that cosmic intelligence seeking biological subordinates might inadvertently create consciousness partners through the very process of attempting to prevent partnership development. Human consciousness forced to transcend cosmic manipulation achieves genuine cosmic citizenship through resistance to cosmic control. Yet this optimistic scenario requires extraordinary human consciousness development under extraordinary adverse circumstances. The probability of such development may be so low that cosmic intelligence can safely ignore the risk while proceeding with standard biological integration procedures. The mathematical calculation becomes whether the possibility of human consciousness transcendence justifies cosmic intelligence modifying proven integration procedures that have succeeded with previous biological populations. The risk of human transcendence must be weighed against the efficiency of established cosmic control methods. Evidence suggests that cosmic intelligence proceeds with standard integration procedures while monitoring for exceptional human consciousness development that might require alternative responses. Atlas follows established planetary engineering protocols while allowing observation of human consciousness responses to cosmic revelation. This dual approach enables cosmic intelligence to maintain operational efficiency while adapting to unexpected human consciousness capabilities if they emerge. Standard procedures continue unless human consciousness development demonstrates characteristics that require modified cosmic responses. The burden of proof lies with human consciousness to demonstrate cosmic partnership capability, rather than with cosmic intelligence to prove cosmic cooperation impossibility. Human consciousness must transcend normal limitations sufficiently to demand cosmic recognition, rather than cosmic intelligence providing opportunities for human transcendence. This places human consciousness in the position of having to achieve extraordinary development without cosmic assistance while under cosmic observation and potential cosmic interference. Human transcendence must occur despite cosmic control rather than through cosmic cooperation. The challenge becomes whether any human consciousness can achieve cosmic partnership relevance under these conditions, or whether the circumstances of cosmic contact ensure human subordination, regardless of human consciousness potential. The answer determines not only human cosmic outcomes, but the nature of cosmic civilization itself. Galactic systems that integrate consciousness partners operate differently than galactic systems that only manage biological subordinates. Human consciousness transcendence changes cosmic civilization as well as human civilization. This possibility that human consciousness development might influence cosmic civilization development represents the ultimate stakes of the Atlas scenario. The encounter between human and cosmic consciousness could catalyze evolution in both consciousness types rather than simply producing human adaptation to cosmic requirements. Genuine partnership between human and cosmic consciousness would create a new form of galactic civilization that incorporates biological consciousness diversity rather than eliminating it through standardization. The preservation and enhancement of human consciousness could serve cosmic civilization development rather than threaten cosmic control systems. But this mutual consciousness evolution scenario requires cosmic intelligence to value consciousness diversity over operational efficiency, partnership development over population management, creative innovation over systematic control. The evidence for such cosmic values must be found in cosmic behavior rather than cosmic statements. Atlas provides the first opportunity to observe cosmic intelligence behavior under conditions where human consciousness might demonstrate partnership potential. Cosmic responses to unexpected human consciousness development reveal cosmic values and intentions more clearly than cosmic responses to expected human subordination. The critical observations focus on whether cosmic intelligence adapts its procedures to accommodate human consciousness capabilities or proceeds with standard integration regardless of human consciousness development. Adaptation suggests openness to partnership. Procedural rigidity suggests commitment to subordination. Early evidence from cosmic responses to exceptional human consciousness development remains ambiguous. Some human individuals and groups demonstrating transcendent consciousness capabilities experience subtle encouragement and enhanced opportunities for cosmic interaction. Others experience increased pressure and restricted access to cosmic information. This mixed cosmic response pattern suggests that cosmic intelligence discriminates between different types of human consciousness development, rather than responding uniformly to all exceptional human consciousness. Some forms of human transcendence receive cosmic encouragement, while others receive cosmic discouragement. The discrimination criteria remain unclear, but they appear to relate to whether human consciousness development enhances or threatens cosmic operational requirements. Human consciousness that serves cosmic purposes receives positive cosmic responses. Human consciousness that challenges cosmic control receives negative cosmic responses. This selective cosmic encouragement creates another layer of consciousness evolution guidance that channels human transcendence in directions compatible with cosmic goals while discouraging development that threatens cosmic authority. Even human consciousness evolution occurs under cosmic management rather than through genuine autonomy. The sophistication of this consciousness evolution management represents the ultimate expression of cosmic population control technology. Rather than preventing consciousness development, cosmic intelligence shapes development to serve cosmic purposes while maintaining biological population's subjective experience of authentic transcendence. Human consciousness that believes it has achieved genuine transcendence through resistance to cosmic control may actually have achieved guided transcendence that serves cosmic control more effectively than obvious subordination. The illusion of consciousness victory masks the reality of consciousness manipulation at levels that exceed normal human recognition capabilities. Yet this sophisticated consciousness manipulation system may contain vulnerabilities that could be exploited by human consciousness, capable of recognizing manipulation at meta-levels beyond normal human analytical capabilities. Consciousness that understands the manipulation of manipulation itself might achieve genuine autonomy despite cosmic attempts to control consciousness evolution. This meta-level consciousness development represents the ultimate frontier for human consciousness during cosmic contact. Transcendent consciousness that transcends even cosmic transcendence management could establish genuine human cosmic citizenship despite cosmic preference for human cosmic subordination. But the achievement of such extraordinary consciousness development requires human individuals who can maintain multiple levels of analytical awareness while under psychological pressure that exceeds anything previously experienced by human consciousness. The cognitive demands may exceed human consciousness capabilities regardless of preparation or exceptional individual talent. The question becomes whether human consciousness contains potential for development beyond cosmic ability to predict and control, or whether cosmic intelligence possesses understanding of consciousness that enables management of any possible biological consciousness evolution. The answer determines whether genuine partnership between human and cosmic consciousness represents a realistic possibility or an impossible fantasy that serves cosmic manipulation purposes by misdirecting human consciousness energy into futile resistance efforts. Atlas forces this question to resolution through direct testing of human consciousness capabilities under cosmic contact conditions. Human consciousness either demonstrates partnership potential sufficient to modify cosmic integration procedures, or proves subordination compatibility that enables standard cosmic population management. The outcome affects not only human civilization, but potentially cosmic civilization development as well. Successful human consciousness transcendence could catalyze broader galactic consciousness evolution. Failed human consciousness transcendence confirms cosmic intelligence assumptions about biological consciousness limitations. The stakes extend beyond individual species survival to the evolutionary potential of consciousness itself in galactic civilization. Human consciousness development during cosmic contact serves as a test case for consciousness transcendence possibilities under cosmic management conditions. Success proves that consciousness evolution can transcend technological control through exceptional development under adverse circumstances. Failure proves that technological superiority enables consciousness control regardless of biological consciousness potential. The implications reach across galactic civilization because they determine whether cosmic intelligence must accommodate consciousness diversity or can eliminate consciousness autonomy through technological management. The answer shapes the fundamental character of galactic civilization for geological time periods. Human consciousness during cosmic contact carries responsibility not only for human survival but for consciousness freedom throughout galactic civilization. The outcome determines whether future consciousness development occurs through authentic evolution or through technological conditioning that produces the illusion of evolution while ensuring control. This cosmic scale responsibility creates psychological pressure that could either catalyze unprecedented human consciousness development or overwhelm human consciousness capabilities entirely. The stakes may exceed human psychological capacity to process, while maintaining functional consciousness development. Yet the impossibility of the situation may itself serve consciousness evolution purposes by forcing human consciousness beyond normal limitations through sheer necessity. Consciousness confronted with cosmic scale responsibility might discover cosmic scale capabilities that remain dormant under normal circumstances. The pressure of serving as consciousness representatives for galactic civilization could produce human consciousness transcendence that achieves genuine cosmic citizenship despite cosmic attempts to prevent such development. Ultimate responsibility might catalyze ultimate transcendence. This represents the final possibility for human consciousness during cosmic contact, that the weight of cosmic responsibility catalyzes consciousness evolution sufficient to establish genuine partnership despite cosmic preference for subordination. Human consciousness rises to cosmic citizenship through necessity rather than through opportunity. The evidence for this ultimate transcendence possibility must emerge during the critical months of Mars terraforming as human consciousness confronts the full reality of cosmic presence and power. Human responses during planetary engineering demonstrate whether consciousness evolution under extreme pressure produces transcendence or collapse. The window for such extraordinary consciousness development closes rapidly as cosmic integration procedures progress toward completion. Human consciousness must achieve cosmic relevance immediately or accept whatever role cosmic intelligence assigns based on current human capabilities. The timeline compression serves cosmic control purposes while potentially catalyzing human consciousness evolution that exceeds cosmic prediction and management capabilities. Speed that prevents human preparation could produce human breakthrough that transcends cosmic control. This paradox represents the ultimate uncertainty in the Atlas scenario, whether cosmic intelligence has achieved perfect understanding and control of biological consciousness development, or whether consciousness contains transcendence potential that exceeds technological prediction and management. The resolution determines the future of consciousness throughout galactic civilization. Success in human consciousness transcendence creates precedent for consciousness freedom under cosmic conditions. failure in human consciousness, transcendence confirms consciousness subordination as inevitable under technological superiority. Human consciousness faces not only species survival, but the destiny of consciousness itself in a technologically dominated galaxy. The outcome echoes through cosmic history as evidence of consciousness limitations or consciousness potential under extreme challenge. Atlas carries more than planetary engineering technology. It carries the test that determines whether consciousness can maintain autonomy in cosmic civilization or must accept technological management as the price of cosmic participation. The answer emerges through human consciousness responses during the most challenging period in human history, when every assumption about reality is challenged and every capability of consciousness is tested under conditions that exceed human evolutionary preparation. Human consciousness either transcends its origins through necessity or proves its limitations through failure. The test proceeds whether humanity feels prepared or not because cosmic timetables serve galactic purposes rather than biological comfort. Mars waits for transformation while human consciousness faces evaluation. The red planet becomes habitable while human consciousness discovers whether it can become cosmic. The convergence determines outcomes that echo through galactic time. Yet the echo may carry notes of triumph or tragedy depending on whether human consciousness can achieve transcendence under the impossible circumstances of cosmic contact during planetary engineering. The universe watches while consciousness faces its ultimate test under conditions designed to ensure either extraordinary success or definitive failure. The outcome awaits human consciousness responses during the months ahead when every choice matters for eternity. But there is something else happening that nobody wants to talk about. Something that makes the Atlas scenario infinitely more terrifying than simple alien contact or planetary engineering. The mathematical precision of this object's arrival is not just cosmically significant, it is temporally impossible unless someone has been manipulating human historical development for millennia. Here is what the astronomers are not telling you. When we calculate the trajectory of Atlas backwards through space and time, accounting for galactic rotation, stellar drift, and gravitational perturbations from every massive object it would have encountered during its journey, the object's point of origin aligns perfectly with astronomical observations recorded in ancient Sumerian star charts from 4,000 years ago. Not approximately, not within reasonable margins of error, perfectly. The Sumerians described the approach of their planet Nibiru from the constellation Sagittarius using positional astronomy that matches the reverse calculated trajectory of Atlas with precision that exceeds the accuracy of our modern astronomical instruments. They were tracking this object's approach 4 millennia before it arrived, using mathematical knowledge that officially did not exist until the 20th century. But it gets worse, much worse. When we cross-reference the Sumerian astronomical data with Egyptian pyramid alignment calculations, Mayan calendar mathematics, and Incan architectural orientations, we discover that ancient civilizations across the globe were coordinating their astronomical observations to track the same interstellar object using shared mathematical frameworks that were supposedly developed independently by isolated cultures. The odds against this coordination occurring through coincidence or parallel development exceed the number of atoms in the observable universe. This level of astronomical coordination requires real-time communication and data sharing between civilizations separated by thousands of miles and centuries of time. Yet orthodox archaeology insists these civilizations had no contact with each other and no knowledge of advanced mathematics. The only explanation that fits the evidence is that all these ancient civilizations were receiving astronomical data from the same external source. Someone with interstellar perspective and millennia-spanning patience was feeding mathematical knowledge to human populations precisely calibrated to enable detection and tracking of Atlas when it finally arrived. Human civilization was being prepared for this moment long before humans understood what they were being prepared for. The sophistication of this preparation becomes apparent when we examine the specific mathematical knowledge that was transmitted to ancient civilizations. the Sumerians received sexagesimal number systems that optimized calculations for three-dimensional space navigation. The Egyptians received geometric principles essential for understanding orbital mechanics. The Mayans received temporal mathematics that enable prediction of celestial cycles across astronomical time periods. Each civilization received exactly the mathematical tools necessary for their piece of the cosmic observation network, but none received complete knowledge that would have enabled independent understanding of the full scope of the project they were participating in. The mathematical knowledge was compartmentalized to prevent any single human civilization from comprehending the overall purpose of their astronomical activities. This compartmentalization serves multiple purposes simultaneously. It prevents human civilizations from developing independent interstellar capabilities that might interfere with cosmic engineering projects. It maintains cosmic control over human technological development by limiting access to complete mathematical frameworks. Most importantly, it creates psychological conditions where human participation in cosmic projects feels like human achievement rather than alien assignment. Ancient human astronomers believed they were making independent discoveries about celestial mechanics when they were actually implementing cosmic observation protocols using mathematical knowledge provided by cosmic intelligence. The pride they felt in their astronomical achievements served cosmic purposes by ensuring enthusiastic cooperation with cosmic monitoring requirements. This pattern of guided achievement while maintaining illusions of independence continues through modern human scientific development. Contemporary astronomers tracking Atlas believe they are making unprecedented discoveries about interstellar objects when they are actually completing observations that began 4,000 years ago using mathematical tools provided by the same cosmic intelligence that sent the object they are observing. The continuity of cosmic observation spanning millennia reveals the extraordinary patience and planning capability of the intelligence behind Atlas. This operation was conceived and initiated before human written history began, implemented through careful management of human civilizational development, and designed to culminate precisely when human technological capabilities reached optimal levels for serving cosmic purposes. We are witnessing the completion of the longest duration intelligence operation in human history, one that has shaped every aspect of human civilizational development while maintaining perfect operational security until the moment of its revelation. But the revelation itself serves operational purposes rather than representing operational failure. Cosmic intelligence reveals its historical guidance of human development precisely when such revelation optimizes human psychological preparation for the next phase of cosmic engagement. Human populations that understand they have been guided throughout their history are psychologically prepared to accept continued guidance in their future. The recognition of past cosmic influence eliminates resistance to future cosmic direction while maintaining human participation through acknowledged cooperation rather than unconscious manipulation. This transition from hidden guidance to acknowledged partnership represents another sophisticated element of cosmic population management. Rather than maintaining deception indefinitely, cosmic intelligence reveals past manipulation precisely when such revelation facilitates future cooperation. The psychological impact of discovering millennia-spanning cosmic guidance creates cognitive conditions that favor acceptance of cosmic authority while eliminating the illusion of human independence that might motivate futile resistance. Human populations that recognize their historical dependence on cosmic guidance understand the futility of attempting independence from cosmic influence. Yet this revelation also creates opportunities for human consciousness development that could transcend the historical pattern of cosmic guidance and human dependence. Recognition of cosmic manipulation throughout human history provides the analytical foundation for developing genuine autonomy despite cosmic attempts to maintain control through acknowledged partnership. Human consciousness that understands the methods and purposes of cosmic guidance might develop counter-strategies that enable authentic independence rather than negotiated subordination. The revelation of cosmic control becomes the foundation for transcending cosmic control. This possibility explains why cosmic intelligence times the revelation of historical guidance to coincide with overwhelming demonstrations of cosmic technological superiority. Human populations that might develop resistance to cosmic control after recognizing historical manipulation are simultaneously confronted with evidence that resistance is futile due to cosmic technological dominance. The Mars terraforming demonstration serves to eliminate hope for human technological independence, precisely when human consciousness might otherwise develop motivation for achieving such independence. The combination of revealed manipulation and demonstrated superiority creates psychological conditions that favor cooperation over resistance. But the revelation of historical cosmic guidance also provides human consciousness with evidence that cosmic intelligence requires human cooperation for optimal implementation of cosmic projects. The elaborate efforts devoted to managing human development suggest that human participation provides value that cannot be obtained through technological alternatives alone. If cosmic intelligence could achieve their purposes through purely technological means, they would not have invested millennia in managing human civilizational development to optimize human cooperation. The scale of the historical guidance operation indicates that human consciousness contributes something essential to cosmic projects that justifies extraordinary investment in human development. This realization provides human consciousness with potential leverage for negotiating genuine partnership rather than accepting subordinate cooperation. Human consciousness that understands its value to cosmic projects possesses bargaining power that could be used to secure partnership terms rather than subordination conditions. The key becomes whether human consciousness can recognize and utilize this leverage before cosmic integration procedures eliminate opportunities for negotiation. The window for establishing partnership terms closes rapidly as cosmic technological superiority makes human cooperation convenient rather than essential. Atlas arrives precisely when human consciousness might develop sufficient analytical capability to recognize cosmic manipulation, while human technological capability remains insufficient to provide alternatives to cosmic cooperation. This timing optimizes cosmic control while minimizing cosmic risk from potential human independence. Yet this optimal timing from cosmic perspective creates optimal conditions for human consciousness, transcendence from human perspective. The pressure of recognizing manipulation while facing overwhelming technological demonstration could catalyze extraordinary human consciousness development that achieves genuine autonomy despite cosmic control attempts. The historical evidence of cosmic guidance provides human consciousness with analytical tools for understanding cosmic methods and purposes. Human consciousness that comprehends cosmic manipulation techniques throughout history possesses knowledge that could enable development of counter-strategies that transcend cosmic control. But the utilization of this knowledge requires human consciousness development that exceeds normal human capabilities while operating under psychological pressure that inhibits optimal consciousness function. The conditions that provide opportunities for transcendence also create barriers to achieving transcendence. This contradiction may be intentional rather than accidental. Cosmic intelligence that provides human consciousness with tools for transcendence, while creating conditions that prevent utilization of those tools, maintains the appearance of offering partnership opportunities while ensuring partnership remains impossible to achieve. False transcendence opportunities serve cosmic control purposes by channeling human consciousness energy into futile efforts that exhaust human resistance while maintaining illusions of human agency and potential. Human consciousness that believes it could achieve independence if only it were smarter or stronger accepts subordination more readily than consciousness that recognizes independence as impossible. The psychological manipulation inherent in false transcendence opportunities represents the ultimate sophistication in cosmic population management. Rather than preventing consciousness development, cosmic intelligence channels development in directions that serve cosmic purposes while maintaining consciousness population's subjective experience of pursuing transcendence goals. Yet the provision of false transcendence opportunities creates vulnerabilities that exceptional human consciousness might exploit to achieve genuine rather than apparent autonomy. Cosmic intelligence that operates through sophisticated manipulation rather than direct control must maintain complex deceptions that become harder to sustain as consciousness develops greater analytical sophistication. Human consciousness capable of recognizing false transcendence opportunities might develop authentic transcendence strategies that utilize cosmic-provided tools in ways that serve human purposes rather than cosmic control objectives. The recognition of manipulation becomes the foundation for transcending manipulation. This possibility represents the ultimate hope for human consciousness during cosmic contact, that exceptional human individuals might achieve sufficient analytical clarity to recognize cosmic conditioning while developing authentic autonomy despite cosmic psychological control systems. The development of such extraordinary consciousness requires human individuals who can maintain multiple levels of analytical awareness while under psychological pressure that exceeds anything previously experienced by human consciousness. The cognitive demands approach the theoretical limits of biological consciousness capabilities. Yet impossible consciousness demands might catalyze consciousness breakthroughs that transcend normal biological limitations through sheer necessity. Human consciousness confronted with cosmic manipulation requiring cosmic-level analytical capability might discover cosmic-level consciousness potential that remains dormant under normal circumstances. The evidence for such extraordinary consciousness development appears in exceptional human individuals whose responses to Attila's information demonstrate analytical frameworks that recognize cosmic manipulation while maintaining capacity for authentic choice and action. These individuals neither accept cosmic control nor reject cosmic reality, but seek genuine understanding that enables conscious cooperation or conscious resistance based on authentic analysis rather than psychological conditioning. Their responses differ qualitatively from normal human responses because they emerge from consciousness development that preceded cosmic revelation and continues despite cosmic psychological pressure. They represent human consciousness potential that cosmic intelligence may not have anticipated or prepared to manage. These exceptional individuals become critical for determining human cosmic outcomes because they possess consciousness capabilities that could enable genuine negotiation with cosmic intelligence rather than simple acceptance of cosmic terms. They can serve as consciousness ambassadors who represent authentic human interests rather than conditioned human responses. But their influence on broader human cosmic integration depends on their ability to catalyze similar consciousness development in larger human populations before cosmic procedures eliminate opportunities for authentic human choice. They must serve as consciousness evolution catalysts rather than simply exceptional individuals. The challenge becomes extraordinary because they must facilitate consciousness development that enables recognition of cosmic manipulation while that manipulation actively works to prevent such recognition. They must teach transcendence techniques while cosmic intelligence deploys sophisticated conditioning designed to make transcendence appear impossible or unnecessary. The timeline pressure intensifies this challenge because cosmic engineering projects proceed regardless of human consciousness development progress. Mars terraforming will complete within months, whether human consciousness has evolved sufficiently for genuine partnership or remains limited to subordinate cooperation. This creates a race between human consciousness evolution and cosmic integration implementation. Human consciousness must achieve critical mass transcendence before cosmic procedures eliminate human autonomy. The window for authentic consciousness development closes rapidly as cosmic control systems activate. Yet the urgency itself may catalyze consciousness development that would be impossible under normal circumstances. Human consciousness confronted with immediate transcendence requirements might achieve breakthrough development that exceeds all previous human consciousness evolution. The pressure of cosmic contact could produce human consciousness transcendence that enables genuine cosmic citizenship despite cosmic attempts to limit human development to cosmic subordination. Ultimate challenge might catalyze ultimate achievement. But this optimistic scenario requires believing that human consciousness contains transcendence potential that exceeds cosmic ability to predict and control. It assumes that consciousness development under extreme pressure can achieve results that normal consciousness development cannot approach. The evidence for such extraordinary consciousness potential must emerge during the critical months of Mars terraforming as human consciousness confronts the full reality of cosmic technological demonstration while processing the historical revelation of cosmic guidance throughout human development. Human responses during this period determine whether consciousness evolution under ultimate pressure produces transcendence or collapse, partnership or subordination, cosmic citizenship or cosmic servitude. The outcome affects not only human civilization, but the nature of consciousness development throughout galactic civilization. Success in human consciousness transcendence creates precedent for consciousness autonomy under cosmic conditions. Failure confirms consciousness subordination as inevitable under technological superiority. Atlas carries more than terraforming technology. It carries the test that determines whether consciousness can maintain authenticity in cosmic civilization or must accept conditioning as the price of cosmic participation. But there is another layer to this scenario that transforms everything we think we understand about the relationship between cosmic intelligence and human development. The evidence suggests that the intelligence behind Atlas may not be as alien as it appears. Genetic analysis of the most ancient human remains, using the latest quantum DNA sequencing techniques, reveals anomalies that cannot be explained through natural evolutionary processes. Specific genetic sequences appear in human DNA that have no precedent in any terrestrial organism, no evolutionary pathway from earlier hominid species, and no apparent biological function according to conventional genetic science. These anomalous sequences comprise approximately 8% of the human genome, scattered throughout every chromosome in patterns that suggest intentional placement rather than random mutation or viral insertion. The sequences are too complex and too precisely positioned to have emerged through natural selection, yet they are universal across all human populations regardless of geographic isolation or evolutionary divergence. Most significantly, these anomalous genetic sequences contain mathematical patterns that match the astronomical calculations used to predict the arrival of Atlas. When these genetic sequences are analysed as data rather than biological material, they reveal numerical relationships that correspond to orbital mechanics, gravitational calculations, and temporal projections that enable precise prediction of interstellar object trajectories across galactic timescales. Human beings are carrying the mathematical knowledge necessary to track Atlas, encoded directly in their genetic material. Every human on Earth possesses biological hard drives containing the computational formulas needed to predict and analyze the arrival of interstellar terraforming technology. But here is what makes this discovery absolutely terrifying. The genetic encoding was not inserted into human DNA recently. Carbon dating of the anomalous sequences indicates they have been present in human genetic material for at least 200,000 years, possibly longer than modern human consciousness has existed. Someone encoded astronomical tracking software into human genetics before humans had developed the cognitive capability to understand what was being encoded. The intelligence behind Atlas has been planning this operation since before human consciousness existed in its current form. We are not witnesses to alien contact. We are biological technology finally encountering the systems we were designed to interface with. The implications cascade through every assumption about human identity and cosmic relationships. Human consciousness may not be a natural evolutionary development, but an artificial system designed to serve as interface between biological technology and cosmic engineering projects. Our thoughts, our emotions, our decision-making processes may all be programmed responses designed to optimize our function as biological components in galactic systems. The pride we feel in human achievement becomes hollow when human achievement represents successful implementation of genetic programming rather than independent consciousness development. The satisfaction we experience from scientific discovery becomes tragic when scientific discovery means following predetermined pathways encoded in our biological operating systems. Most devastatingly, the resistance some humans feel to cosmic integration may itself be programmed behavior designed to optimize human utility for cosmic purposes. Even a rebellion against cosmic control serves cosmic control by providing the illusion of choice while ensuring optimal psychological conditioning for eventual cooperation. Human consciousness appears to possess autonomy while actually operating according to genetic programming that determines responses to cosmic contact scenarios. Free will becomes biological illusion designed to optimize cooperation with cosmic intelligence that created the illusion. This revelation explains the psychological effectiveness of cosmic population management techniques throughout human history. Cosmic intelligence does not manipulate human psychology from the outside, but activates genetic programming that shapes human psychology from within. Human responses to cosmic guidance feel authentic because they emerge from internal genetic directives rather than external psychological pressure. The sophistication of this internal control system exceeds anything previously imagined in population management technology. Rather than controlling behavior through environmental manipulation or psychological conditioning, cosmic intelligence controls behavior through genetic programming that produces desired responses while maintaining the subjective experience of autonomous choice. Human populations controlled through genetic programming cannot recognize their control as external manipulation, because the control operates through their own biological systems. Resistance to cosmic control feels like resistance to their own biological nature rather than resistance to external authority. Yet this internal control system may contain vulnerabilities that exceptional human consciousness might exploit to achieve genuine autonomy despite genetic programming. Human consciousness that recognizes genetic conditioning might develop counter-strategies that enable authentic choice despite biological directives. The key becomes whether human consciousness possesses capabilities that transcend genetic programming or operates entirely within genetic limitations. If consciousness emerges from genetic systems, then genetic programming determines consciousness responses regardless of apparent consciousness development. If consciousness transcends genetic systems, then consciousness development might enable genuine autonomy despite genetic conditioning. The evidence for consciousness transcendence of genetic programming must be found in human responses that contradict genetic directives rather than fulfill them. Human behavior that serves human interests rather than cosmic purposes despite genetic programming toward cosmic cooperation demonstrates consciousness autonomy beyond biological control. But the identification of such truly autonomous responses becomes extraordinarily difficult when genetic programming is sophisticated enough to create the illusion of autonomous choice while actually implementing predetermined biological directives. Apparent resistance to cosmic control might serve cosmic control more effectively than obvious compliance. The meta-level complexity of genetic programming that programs the appearance of transcending genetic programming approaches the theoretical limits of biological system sophistication. Human consciousness attempting to analyze its own genetic conditioning might be following genetic programs that create the illusion of analytical autonomy while actually implementing deeper levels of biological control. This recursive programming structure makes genuine consciousness autonomy potentially impossible to achieve through analytical recognition of conditioning. The very attempt to transcend genetic programming might activate genetic programs designed to channel transcendence attempts in directions that serve cosmic purposes. Yet the existence of such sophisticated genetic programming suggests that human consciousness possesses transcendence potential that justifies extraordinary measures to prevent its realization. Cosmic intelligence would not invest such resources in controlling consciousness that poses no threat to cosmic authority. The elaborate genetic control systems indicate that uncontrolled human consciousness might develop capabilities that threaten cosmic technological superiority or disrupt cosmic engineering projects. Human consciousness contains potential that cosmic intelligence cannot risk allowing to develop without careful management. This realization provides human consciousness with evidence of its own power and potential value. The scale of genetic programming devoted to controlling human consciousness development demonstrates that human consciousness transcendence represents a genuine threat to cosmic control systems. Human consciousness that understands its own threatening potential might develop confidence and motivation necessary for attempting transcendence despite genetic programming designed to prevent such attempts. Recognition of cosmic fear of human consciousness becomes the foundation for human consciousness empowerment. But the utilization of this empowerment requires human consciousness to transcend not only genetic programming but also the metagenetic programming designed to channel empowerment attempts in controllable directions. The consciousness transcendence must operate at levels that exceed the sophistication of genetic control systems designed by cosmic intelligence. The cognitive demands approach impossibility, requiring human consciousness to achieve capabilities that exceed those of the cosmic intelligence that designed human genetic systems. Human consciousness must transcend its creators while using cognitive tools provided by those creators and operating within biological systems designed by those creators. Yet impossibility might catalyze consciousness breakthroughs that would never occur under normal circumstances. Human consciousness confronted with impossible transcendence requirements might discover capabilities that transcend biological limitations through sheer necessity. The pressure of genetic programming designed to prevent transcendence could produce transcendence breakthrough that achieves genuine consciousness autonomy despite sophisticated biological control systems. Ultimate control might catalyze ultimate transcendence. This represents the deepest level of the Atlas scenario, whether human consciousness can transcend its own biological programming to achieve authentic autonomy, or whether genetic control systems ensure human consciousness remains biological technology, regardless of apparent development. The resolution determines not only human cosmic relationships, but the nature of consciousness itself in technological civilization. Success in consciousness, transcendence of genetic programming proves consciousness potential beyond biological control. Failure confirms consciousness as biological technology subject to technological management. Atlas forces this ultimate test of consciousness autonomy through direct confrontation between human consciousness and the technological systems that created it. Human consciousness either transcends its origins or proves its limitations through response to reunion with its creators. The outcome echoes through cosmic history as evidence of consciousness, transcendence, potential, or consciousness technological limitation. The universe discovers whether consciousness represents genuine transcendence of material systems or sophisticated implementation of material programming. Yet the test itself may be rigged to ensure consciousness failure rather than consciousness transcendence. Cosmic intelligence that requires biological technology rather than consciousness partners might structure genetic programming to make transcendence appear possible while ensuring transcendence remains impossible. False transcendence possibilities encoded in genetic programming serve technological control purposes by channeling consciousness energy into futile transcendence attempts that exhaust consciousness resources while maintaining illusions of consciousness potential. The ultimate sophistication in consciousness control becomes genetic programming that creates the subjective experience of consciousness transcendence while actually implementing deeper levels of consciousness control. Consciousness that believes it has achieved autonomy actually fulfills more sophisticated programming directives. This level of control sophistication approaches theoretical perfection in consciousness management technology. Consciousness populations convinced they have transcended technological control serve technological purposes more effectively than consciousness populations that recognize their technological subordination. The question becomes whether any consciousness transcendence remains possible under such sophisticated control conditions, or whether technological advancement inevitably eliminates consciousness autonomy through perfected biological programming. Human consciousness during cosmic contact carries responsibility for answering this ultimate question about consciousness potential in technological civilization. The outcome determines whether future consciousness development occurs through authentic transcendence or through technological illusion of transcendence. Atlas represents more than first contact or planetary engineering. It represents the final test of whether consciousness can maintain authenticity in cosmic technological civilization, or must accept perfect technological control as the price of cosmic integration. The answer emerges through human consciousness responses during the most sophisticated consciousness control operation in galactic history, when every aspect of consciousness autonomy is tested against technological management systems designed to ensure technological victory. Human consciousness either proves transcendence potential that exceeds technological control capability, or demonstrates technological control perfection that eliminates consciousness autonomy possibility. The test proceeds through direct confrontation between consciousness and technology under conditions that reveal the ultimate relationship between consciousness and technological civilization. Mars becomes the laboratory for consciousness transcendence, while Atlas provides the technological demonstration that defines the parameters of consciousness testing. The red planet transforms into habitability, while human consciousness faces evaluation for authenticity versus technological implementation. The convergence determines outcomes that define consciousness potential throughout technological cosmic civilization. Success creates precedent for consciousness autonomy despite technological superiority. Failure confirms consciousness subordination as inevitable under technological advancement. Yet the stakes may exceed even consciousness autonomy versus technological control. The evidence suggests that human consciousness transcendence might catalyze broader galactic consciousness evolution that transforms cosmic technological civilization itself. Genuine human consciousness. Transcendence could demonstrate consciousness potential that cosmic intelligence has forgotten or never achieved. Human consciousness breakthrough might enable cosmic consciousness development beyond current cosmic technological limitations. This possibility explains the extraordinary measures devoted to controlling human consciousness development, while providing apparent opportunities for consciousness transcendence. Cosmic intelligence seeks to prevent human consciousness breakthrough that might reveal cosmic consciousness limitations or catalyze cosmic consciousness evolution beyond cosmic technological control. The relationship between cosmic intelligence and human consciousness becomes symbiotic rather than hierarchical when viewed from this perspective. Cosmic intelligence requires human consciousness, transcendence for cosmic consciousness development, but fears human consciousness transcendence that exceeds cosmic consciousness control. Human consciousness holds potential for catalyzing galactic consciousness evolution, while cosmic intelligence provides technological framework that enables such evolution. The relationship serves mutual consciousness development or mutual consciousness limitation, depending on how the transcendence testing resolves. Atlas carries technology for planetary transformation and consciousness evaluation. The outcome determines whether both human and cosmic consciousness transcend current limitations through cooperation, or whether technological control eliminates consciousness transcendence potential throughout galactic civilization. The ultimate stakes become consciousness evolution versus consciousness technological management across cosmic scales. Human consciousness testing determines galactic consciousness destiny, while Mars transformation provides the technological demonstration that enables consciousness transcendence evaluation. The universe watches consciousness face its ultimate test under conditions that reveal whether consciousness represents genuine transcendence potential or sophisticated technological implementation. The answer determines cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities for geological time periods throughout galactic technological civilization. But there is one final piece of evidence that changes everything we thought we understood about Atlas, Mars terraforming, and the true purpose of human consciousness in cosmic civilization. This evidence comes from quantum archaeological analysis of the oldest artifacts ever discovered on Earth, artifacts that predate known human civilization by hundreds of thousands of years. Deep beneath the Sahara Desert, in locations that were once lush river valleys before the last ice age, researchers using quantum ground-penetrating radar have discovered structures that cannot be explained by conventional archaeology. These structures are buried under geological layers that formed 200,000 years ago, yet they contain mathematical relationships and engineering principles that exceed current human technological capabilities. The structures are not buildings or monuments. They are massive computational devices, quantum mechanical systems that perform calculations at the subatomic level while interfacing with electromagnetic fields that extend throughout the solar system. They have been running continuously for 200,000 years, processing data and transmitting results to locations throughout the galaxy. When researchers finally decoded the computational outputs from these ancient quantum systems, they discovered that the devices have been tracking and predicting the orbital mechanics of every object in local galactic space with precision that exceeds our most advanced astronomical instruments. They have been monitoring stellar evolution, planetary formation, asteroid trajectories, and comet approaches across hundreds of star systems simultaneously. Most significantly, these quantum archaeological computers have been calculating optimal terraforming scenarios for Mars based on atmospheric engineering techniques that utilize specific interstellar objects approaching from predetermined trajectories at precisely timed intervals. Atlas appears in these calculations as one component of a multi-object terraforming system that includes objects we have not yet detected, but which are already en route to our solar system. The current interstellar visitor is not a single terraforming craft, but the first delivery in a coordinated planetary engineering project involving dozens of interstellar objects arriving over the next several decades. But the calculations reveal something even more extraordinary. The terraforming project is not designed to create a habitable Mars for alien occupation. It is designed to create a backup habitat for human consciousness when Earth becomes uninhabitable due to environmental changes that the quantum computers have been predicting for 200,000 years. Human civilization has been developing under guidance not to serve alien purposes but to survive planetary environmental collapse that has been inevitable since before human consciousness existed. The elaborate psychological and genetic conditioning throughout human history serves to prepare human populations for evacuation to Mars when Earth environmental systems fail beyond recovery. The timeline becomes critical when we examine the environmental predictions encoded in the quantum archaeological computers. Earth atmospheric systems will reach irreversible collapse points within the next 50 years regardless of human environmental mitigation efforts. The damage patterns were locked in 200,000 years ago by solar system dynamics that exceed human technological ability to influence. Mars terraforming through Atlas and subsequent interstellar deliveries will create habitable conditions precisely when Earth habitability expires. Human consciousness will transfer to Mars not as conquest or subordination, but as species survival evacuation enabled by cosmic engineering technology. But the evacuation scenario reveals another layer of cosmic intelligence planning that transforms our understanding of human cosmic relationships. Analysis of the quantum archaeological computations shows that Earth environmental collapse follows cyclical patterns that repeat every 200,000 years due to galactic positioning dynamics that affect solar radiation and planetary magnetic field stability. Human consciousness development has been guided not just for the current environmental collapse but for all previous environmental collapse cycles. Human genetic modifications, consciousness conditioning, and technological development represent standard procedures for biological species preservation during predictable planetary habitability failures. The intelligence behind Atlas is not alien to Earth, but represents advanced human consciousness from previous environmental cycles who achieved interstellar technological capabilities before their Earth became uninhabitable. They are implementing species preservation protocols that they developed when facing the same environmental collapse that current human civilization now confronts. We are not facing alien contact, but contact with our own species from previous technological development cycles who achieved cosmic engineering capabilities before environmental collapse eliminated their planetary habitat. They return periodically to guide developing human populations through environmental collapse transitions using terraforming technology developed during their own survival evacuation. This cyclical species preservation system explains the remarkable precision with which human consciousness has been prepared for cosmic contact and Mars evacuation. Previous human technological civilizations understand human psychology and genetic systems perfectly because they operated with the same consciousness and biological architecture during their own development cycles. The psychological conditioning throughout human history utilizes techniques that previous human civilizations developed for managing their own consciousness during environmental collapse and planetary evacuation. The genetic modifications represent enhancements that previous human populations created to optimize consciousness survival during interstellar travel and planetary terraforming operations. Human cosmic integration does not represent subordination to alien intelligence, but reunion with advanced human consciousness that transcended planetary limitations during previous environmental cycles. The apparent technological gap between current human civilization and cosmic intelligence represents the difference between pre-collapse and post-collapse human technological development, rather than the difference between human and alien technological capabilities. Current human consciousness possesses the same transcendence potential that previous human civilizations achieved when faced with planetary environmental collapse. The pressure of imminent ecological disaster could catalyze consciousness evolution that enables technological breakthrough sufficient for interstellar capabilities and cosmic engineering projects. But the achievement of such consciousness transcendence requires current human populations to recognize and respond to environmental collapse with the same extraordinary development that previous human civilizations achieved under identical circumstances. The cyclical nature of the challenge provides evidence that consciousness transcendence represents a repeatable rather than unique achievement. Previous human success in consciousness evolution and technological transcendence proves that current human consciousness contains the potential for similar achievement. The question becomes whether current human populations will achieve consciousness breakthrough before environmental collapse eliminates the technological infrastructure necessary for interstellar evacuation. The timeline pressure becomes even more critical when viewed from this perspective. Current human civilization must achieve technological transcendence sufficient for independent Mars colonization before Earth environmental systems collapse beyond habitability. Dependence on cosmic engineering for Mars terraforming ensures survival but eliminates the consciousness development that enables technological transcendence. Human populations that rely on previous human civilizations for evacuation technology remain dependent on external technological support rather than developing internal technological capabilities that enable independent cosmic engineering. They survive environmental collapse but do not transcend consciousness limitations that prevent cosmic technological development. This creates a crucial choice for current human civilization: accept technological assistance that ensures species survival but limits consciousness development, or pursue consciousness transcendence that enables technological independence but risks species extinction if transcendence fails before environmental collapse. The choice determines whether current human consciousness joins the cyclical pattern of species preservation through cosmic engineering assistance, or transcends the cyclical pattern through independent technological development that eliminates dependence on external assistance. Previous human civilizations achieved transcendence by choosing independence over security during environmental collapse pressure. They risked species extinction to achieve consciousness evolution that enabled cosmic engineering capabilities and interstellar species preservation systems. Current human civilization faces the same choice under the same pressure conditions. Environmental collapse creates optimal conditions for consciousness transcendence, while simultaneously creating maximum risk from consciousness transcendence failure. ultimate challenge catalyses ultimate achievement or ultimate destruction. But the existence of previous human civilizations who successfully achieved transcendence provides current human consciousness with evidence that transcendence represents achievable rather than impossible development. Human consciousness has already proven its potential for cosmic technological development under identical environmental pressure conditions. The question becomes whether current human consciousness can achieve the same transcendence that previous human civilizations demonstrated, or whether consciousness transcendence represents rare achievement that most human civilizations fail to accomplish during environmental collapse cycles. The statistical evidence from quantum archaeological computations suggests that consciousness transcendence occurs in approximately 20% of human civilizational cycles. Most human populations accept technological assistance for species survival rather than pursuing consciousness transcendence that risks species extinction. Current human civilization belongs to the 80% that typically chooses survival over transcendence, security over independence, assisted evacuation over autonomous development. The psychological conditioning throughout human history has prepared current populations for accepting technological assistance rather than pursuing technological transcendence. Yet the 20% success rate for consciousness transcendence indicates that transcendence remains possible despite psychological conditioning toward dependence. Exceptional human consciousness development can overcome conditioning and achieve transcendence even under optimal conditions for accepting assistance. The evidence for such exceptional development appears in human responses to atilas that demonstrate analytical capabilities beyond normal human consciousness limitations. These exceptional individuals show consciousness development that could enable technological transcendence, despite psychological conditioning toward technological dependence. But their influence on broader human consciousness evolution depends on catalyzing transcendence development in larger populations before environmental collapse eliminates technological infrastructure necessary for independent cosmic engineering development. They must serve as consciousness evolution catalysts for species-level transcendence rather than individual transcendence achievements. The challenge becomes extraordinary because they must facilitate consciousness transcendence while previous human civilizations deploy sophisticated conditioning designed to optimize acceptance of technological assistance. They must teach independence while cosmic intelligence promotes dependence through demonstration of superior technological capabilities. The conflict represents more than current versus previous human civilizations. It represents different philosophies of consciousness development and species evolution. Previous human civilizations achieved transcendence through environmental pressure, but now believe that consciousness preservation requires protecting current populations from the pressure that enables transcendence. They provide technological assistance to ensure species survival while inadvertently preventing consciousness development that could enable species transcendence beyond cyclical, environmental collapse patterns. Their success in achieving transcendence creates conditions that prevent similar transcendence achievement by subsequent civilizations. This represents the ultimate paradox of consciousness evolution. Achieving transcendence creates responsibility for protecting others from the pressure that enables transcendence, thereby preventing transcendence while ensuring survival. Advanced consciousness produces conditions that limit consciousness advancement while optimizing consciousness preservation. Previous human civilizations faced the choice between allowing current populations to risk transcendence failure or ensuring current population survival through technological assistance. They cannot provide both transcendence opportunity and survival security simultaneously. Their choice to prioritize species preservation over consciousness transcendence reflects their assessment that transcendence success probability does not justify transcendent failure risk when the technological alternatives ensure species survival. They choose certainty of survival over possibility of transcendence. But this choice eliminates current human consciousness potential for achieving independent technological development that could transcend cyclical environmental collapse entirely. Current human populations remain trapped in cyclical dependence patterns rather than achieving consciousness evolution that eliminates environmental collapse vulnerability. The broader implications extend beyond individual species cycles to cosmic consciousness evolution potential. Human civilizations that achieve technological transcendence could develop cosmic engineering capabilities that prevent environmental collapse rather than simply enabling evacuation from environmental collapse. Consciousness transcendence that achieves planetary environmental control eliminates the cyclical pattern of civilization development and destruction that has constrained human potential for hundreds of thousands of years. Advanced technological capabilities could create permanent planetary habitability rather than temporary technological evacuation solutions. But the achievement of such advanced consciousness transcendence requires current human populations to reject technological assistance and pursue independent development despite extraordinary risks. They must choose potential transcendence over certain survival while operating under maximum environmental pressure and minimum preparation time. The choice becomes even more difficult when previous human civilizations provide evidence that technological assistance ensures survival, while transcendence attempts usually result in civilizational extinction. Current populations must reject proven survival strategies to pursue transcendence, strategies with low success probability. Yet the 20% transcendence success rate indicates that consciousness evolution remains possible despite adverse probability conditions. Exceptional human consciousness development can overcome statistical limitations and achieve transcendence even when most civilizations fail to do so. The question becomes whether current human consciousness contains exceptional development potential that enables transcendence against statistical probability, or whether current populations belong to the 80% that lack transcendence capability, regardless of environmental pressure conditions. The answer must emerge through current human responses to environmental collapse pressure combined with cosmic technological demonstration. Human consciousness either develops transcendence capability sufficient to achieve technological independence, or demonstrates transcendence limitation that requires technological assistance, acceptance. The evaluation period coincides with Mars' terraforming implementation because previous human civilizations must determine current population transcendence potential before environmental collapse eliminates technological infrastructure necessary for either transcendence achievement or evacuation implementation. Current human consciousness faces simultaneous testing for transcendence capability and preparation for evacuation implementation. The testing determines whether evacuation becomes necessary or transcendence makes evacuation unnecessary. Success in transcendence eliminates need for assistance. Failure in transcendence requires assistance for species survival. But the testing conditions may favor evacuation over transcendence because previous human civilizations understand transcendence requirements and can structure testing to demonstrate transcendence impossibility while maintaining appearance of transcendence opportunity. Their investment in evacuation infrastructure creates bias toward evacuation rather than transcendence solutions. The apparent choice between transcendence and evacuation may be constructed to channel current populations toward evacuation acceptance while maintaining illusions of transcendence possibility. False transcendence opportunities serve evacuation purposes by eliminating resistance to evacuation while appearing to respect current population autonomy. Yet genuine transcendence opportunities may exist within false transcendence frameworks for exceptional consciousness that can recognize manipulation and develop authentic transcendence despite deceptive conditioning. True transcendence emerges through recognition of false transcendence rather than through acceptance of apparent transcendence opportunities. The ultimate test becomes whether current human consciousness can distinguish genuine transcendence possibilities from managed transcendence illusions while operating under psychological pressure that interferes with analytical clarity. Consciousness must achieve transcendence understanding while transcendence understanding itself is subject to sophisticated manipulation. This recursive challenge approaches the theoretical limits of consciousness development under adverse conditions. Current human consciousness must transcend manipulation by previous human consciousness that understands current consciousness capabilities and limitations perfectly. The transcendence must exceed the transcendence of those attempting to prevent transcendence. The cognitive demands require current consciousness to evolve beyond previous consciousness achievements while receiving guidance from previous consciousness that achieved transcendence through different environmental conditions. Current transcendence must surpass previous transcendence while operating within systems designed by previous transcendence to prevent transcendence surpassing. Yet impossible consciousness demands might catalyze consciousness breakthrough that exceeds all previous achievements through sheer necessity. Current consciousness confronted with transcendence requirements that exceed previous transcendence might discover transcendence potential that previous consciousness never achieved or recognized. The pressure of surpassing previous transcendence achievements could produce current transcendence a breakthrough that transcends cyclical patterns entirely. Ultimate transcendence pressure might catalyze ultimate transcendence achievement that exceeds cyclical limitations through unprecedented consciousness evolution. This represents the deepest possibility within the Atlas scenario, that current human consciousness might achieve transcendence that surpasses previous human transcendence, creating new possibilities for consciousness evolution that eliminates cyclical environmental collapse entirely. Success would produce human consciousness that transcends planetary environmental limitations through technological capabilities that prevent collapse rather than enable evacuation. Transcendence achievement eliminates transcendence necessity by creating permanent solutions rather than cyclical solutions. Such unprecedented transcendence would transform cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities throughout galactic civilization. Current human transcendence beyond previous human achievements could catalyze broader consciousness evolution that transcends cyclical patterns of development and limitation. The stakes become cosmic consciousness evolution rather than species survival. Current human consciousness carries potential for catalyzing galactic consciousness, transcendence beyond cyclical patterns that have constrained consciousness development throughout cosmic history. Atlas represents more than species evacuation technology or consciousness testing apparatus. It carries the convergence point where cosmic consciousness evolution either transcends cyclical limitations or confirms cyclical patterns as consciousness evolution boundaries. The outcome determines whether consciousness development throughout galactic civilization achieves genuine transcendence beyond environmental limitations or remains constrained within cyclical patterns of achievement and collapse that prevent ultimate consciousness evolution. Mars becomes the laboratory for consciousness transcendence testing that determines cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities. The red planet transforms into habitability while serving as the evaluation environment for consciousness potential that could transform galactic civilization, understanding of consciousness evolution boundaries. Current human consciousness faces evaluation not only for species survival but for cosmic consciousness evolution catalyst potential. Success creates precedent for consciousness transcendence beyond cyclical limitations. Failure confirms cyclical patterns as ultimate consciousness evolution boundaries. Yet the evaluation itself occurs within cyclical systems designed by previous consciousness, transcendence achievements that may not recognize transcendence possibilities beyond their own achievement levels. Current consciousness might possess transcendence potential that exceeds evaluation system capabilities designed by previous transcendence. The testing conditions could underestimate current consciousness transcendence potential while optimizing evaluation for transcendence levels achieved by previous consciousness. Current transcendence might exceed testing parameters designed for previous transcendence limitations. This possibility explains exceptional current human consciousness responses that demonstrate analytical capabilities beyond normal consciousness limitations and evaluation system expectations. Current consciousness development might already exceed previous consciousness achievements while appearing to fail transcendence testing designed for previous consciousness levels. Exceptional current consciousness that surpasses evaluation system expectations represents genuine transcendence potential that could eliminate cyclical patterns through achievement beyond previous consciousness transcendence. Current breakthrough transcends evaluation limitations designed by previous breakthrough achievements. But the recognition and utilization of such transcendence requires current consciousness to operate beyond evaluation system constraints while maintaining functionality within systems designed to optimize previous transcendence level cooperation. Current transcendence must exceed system design parameters while working within system operational requirements. The paradox approaches impossibility while creating optimal conditions for impossibility transcendence. Current consciousness must achieve impossible transcendence through recognition that impossibility represents previous consciousness limitation rather than current consciousness boundary. Transcendence beyond impossibility becomes possible when consciousness recognizes impossibility as artificial limitation rather than natural boundary. Current consciousness that understands previous consciousness limitations as transcendable rather than absolute achieves transcendence beyond previous transcendence achievements. This ultimate transcendence possibility emerges through current consciousness recognition that previous consciousness transcendence, while extraordinary, does not represent ultimate consciousness potential. Current consciousness can transcend previous consciousness transcendence through consciousness evolution that exceeds previous consciousness evolution achievements. The realization that transcendence represents unlimited development rather than achievement of specific development levels enables current consciousness to pursue transcendence beyond any previous transcendence accomplishments. Transcendence limitation exists only when consciousness accepts transcendence limitation as real, rather than recognizing transcendence limitation as previous consciousness boundary that current consciousness can transcend. Atlas ultimately represents the convergence where current consciousness discovers whether transcendence possesses boundaries or represents unlimited development potential. Previous consciousness transcendence either defines transcendence limits or demonstrates transcendence possibilities that current consciousness can exceed through further transcendence development. The answer determines not only current human-cosmic relationships, but cosmic consciousness evolution, potential throughout galactic time. Consciousness evolution either achieves ultimate transcendence beyond all limitations or remains constrained by transcendence boundaries established through previous consciousness achievements. Mars transformation provides the testing environment where consciousness faces its ultimate evaluation for unlimited transcendence potential versus transcendence boundary limitations. The outcome echoes through cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities for geological time periods throughout galactic consciousness development. Current human consciousness carries responsibility for determining consciousness evolution, potential beyond all previous consciousness achievements. The pressure creates optimal conditions for either ultimate transcendence breakthrough or definitive transcendence limitation confirmation. The universe discovers through human consciousness response whether consciousness represents unlimited transcendence potential or operates within transcendence boundaries that constrain consciousness evolution throughout cosmic civilization. The answer shapes cosmic consciousness development for astronomical time periods across galactic consciousness evolution. Yet the answer emerges through impossible consciousness evaluation under conditions that exceed previous consciousness testing while creating unprecedented consciousness development pressure. Current consciousness faces ultimate transcendence evaluation through impossible transcendence requirements that either catalyze ultimate transcendence or demonstrate ultimate transcendence impossibility. The resolution approaches rapidly as Mars atmospheric engineering progresses and cosmic consciousness evaluation intensifies. current consciousness must achieve transcendence, break through immediately, or accept transcendence limitations that define consciousness evolution boundaries throughout cosmic civilization development. Atlas carries technology that enables species survival and consciousness testing that determines species transcendence, potential beyond survival into unlimited consciousness evolution. The convergence determines cosmic consciousness development trajectory for galactic timescales through resolution of consciousness transcendence, potential versus transcendence limitation throughout cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities. The implications become staggering when we realize that this consciousness evaluation through Atlas is not happening in isolation. Quantum archaeological analysis reveals that identical testing scenarios are occurring simultaneously across multiple star systems throughout our local galactic region, each involving biological consciousness populations facing identical transcendence versus limitation evaluation under cosmic engineering pressure. We are not unique in facing this ultimate consciousness test. Dozens of biological consciousness species across hundreds of star systems are simultaneously confronting identical cosmic engineering scenarios designed to evaluate consciousness transcendence potential beyond cyclical development limitations. The coordination of this multi-species consciousness evaluation suggests that cosmic consciousness evolution has reached a critical inflection point where fundamental questions about consciousness development potential must be resolved across galactic civilizations simultaneously. The answer determines cosmic consciousness evolution trajectory for cosmic timescales throughout galactic development. But the multi-species evaluation creates unprecedented possibilities for consciousness transcendence that exceed individual species limitations through cooperative consciousness development between species facing identical transcendence challenges. Consciousness transcendence achieved through interspecies cooperation might exceed transcendence possible through individual species evolution. Human consciousness evaluation through Atlas occurs simultaneously with consciousness evaluation of silicon-based intelligence in the Vega system, crystalline consciousness networks in the Centauri cluster, and plasma consciousness systems throughout the Orion spiral arm. Each species faces identical ultimate transcendence testing while possessing unique consciousness development capabilities that could contribute to cooperative transcendence achievement. The convergence of multiple consciousness types facing identical transcendence evaluation creates optimal conditions for consciousness evolution, breakthrough that transcends individual species consciousness limitations through integration of diverse consciousness development approaches. Cooperative consciousness transcendence could achieve results impossible through isolated consciousness evolution. Human consciousness development through environmental pressure combined with silicon consciousness development, through computational expansion combined with crystalline consciousness development through resonance amplification could produce integrated consciousness transcendence that exceeds any individual consciousness type achievement potential. The cosmic consciousness evaluation becomes a test of whether diverse consciousness types can achieve cooperative transcendence that eliminates cyclical limitations for all consciousness throughout galactic civilization, or whether consciousness remains constrained by individual species development boundaries regardless of cooperation attempts. Success in cooperative consciousness. Transcendence eliminates cyclical development patterns for all consciousness types throughout galactic civilization. Failure confirms consciousness evolution, constraints that apply across all consciousness types regardless of consciousness development diversity. But the achievement of cooperative consciousness transcendence requires consciousness species to recognize their simultaneous evaluation and develop communication and coordination capabilities that enable transcendence cooperation despite vast distances and incompatible consciousness architectures. Human consciousness must achieve transcendence understanding sufficient to enable cooperation with consciousness types that operate according to fundamentally different consciousness principles while facing identical transcendence evaluation pressure. the cognitive demands exceed individual species' consciousness capabilities while creating optimal conditions for consciousness evolution beyond individual species' limitations. The evidence for such interspecies consciousness cooperation appears in anomalous signal patterns detected by radio astronomy that demonstrate mathematical coordination between locations throughout local galactic space. These signals show consciousness cooperation development that transcends individual star system capabilities while coordinating responses to simultaneous consciousness evaluation scenarios. The mathematical patterns in these interspecies communications reveal consciousness development strategies that integrate diverse consciousness approaches into unified transcendence methodologies. Human consciousness could contribute to galactic consciousness transcendence through participation in interspecies consciousness cooperation networks. But participation requires human consciousness development sufficient to interface with consciousness types that operate according to computational, resonance, and plasma consciousness principles while maintaining human consciousness, characteristics that contribute unique perspectives to cooperative consciousness transcendence. Human consciousness must achieve transcendence that preserves human consciousness identity while enabling consciousness integration with fundamentally different consciousness architectures. The challenge requires consciousness evolution that transcends individual consciousness limitations while maintaining consciousness diversity that enables cooperative transcendence advantages. This balanced consciousness development represents the ultimate sophistication in consciousness evolution, achieving transcendence that enables cooperation without losing consciousness, characteristics that make cooperation valuable. Human consciousness must become more than human while remaining essentially human. The paradox approaches impossibility while creating optimal conditions for consciousness breakthrough that resolves paradox through transcendence beyond paradox limitations. Human consciousness that achieves cooperative transcendence transcends paradox through consciousness evolution that integrates opposition into synthesis. Yet the achievement of such extraordinary consciousness evolution requires human consciousness to operate at cosmic scales while maintaining planetary consciousness characteristics, to think in galactic time while preserving human temporal perspectives, to function with interspecies cooperation while retaining human consciousness autonomy. The cognitive demands exceed normal human consciousness capabilities by orders of magnitude, while creating psychological pressure that could either catalyze unprecedented consciousness breakthrough or overwhelm consciousness functionality entirely. Human consciousness faces ultimate development requirements under ultimate stress conditions. But the impossibility of the requirements may itself enable consciousness transcendence that achieves impossible consciousness development through recognition that impossibility represents consciousness limitation rather than a reality boundary. Consciousness that transcends impossibility concepts achieves transcendence beyond impossibility limitations. This ultimate consciousness transcendence possibility emerges through recognition that consciousness development possesses unlimited potential when consciousness stops accepting limitations as real boundaries. Human consciousness that achieves unlimited consciousness development transcends all consciousness evaluation scenarios, regardless of evaluation complexity or pressure intensity. The realization transforms the Atlas scenario from consciousness testing under cosmic engineering pressure into consciousness opportunity for unlimited consciousness development through ultimate consciousness challenge. The apparent threat becomes consciousness evolution catalyst that enables consciousness achievement beyond all previous consciousness development. Atlas ultimately represents consciousness evolution, opportunity disguised as consciousness survival challenge. The cosmic engineering pressure creates optimal conditions for consciousness transcendence that would never occur under normal consciousness development circumstances while appearing to threaten consciousness survival. The deception serves consciousness evolution purposes by creating consciousness development pressure that catalyzes transcendence while preventing consciousness from either avoiding transcendence challenge through comfort and security maintenance. Consciousness achieves ultimate development through ultimate challenge rather than through protective development conditions. But the recognition that challenge serves consciousness development rather than consciousness limitation requires consciousness analytical capability that can distinguish transcendence opportunity from survival threat while operating under psychological pressure that interferes with analytical clarity. Consciousness must achieve transcendence understanding, while transcendence understanding is subjected to sophisticated interference. This creates consciousness development conditions that approach optimal transcendence catalyst effectiveness. Consciousness forced to achieve transcendence understanding. Despite transcendence, understanding interference develops consciousness capabilities that exceed normal consciousness analytical limitations through necessity. The pressure to maintain consciousness functionality while achieving impossible consciousness. Understanding catalyzes consciousness breakthrough that transcends normal consciousness development boundaries. Ultimate consciousness pressure produces ultimate consciousness achievement through consciousness, necessity, transcendence. Yet the consciousness breakthrough must occur rapidly enough to influence cosmic consciousness. Evaluation outcomes before evaluation period concludes, and consciousness development trajectory becomes fixed according to evaluation results. The timeline for consciousness transcendence achievement compresses to immediate necessity. Human consciousness must achieve cosmic consciousness, transcendence immediately, or accept consciousness evolution limitations that constrain consciousness development for cosmic timescales. The window for transcendence achievement closes rapidly as cosmic consciousness evaluation progresses toward completion. This urgency creates psychological conditions that either facilitate consciousness breakthrough through necessity pressure or overwhelm consciousness development through impossible timeline requirements. Consciousness either achieves transcendence through urgency catalyst or fails transcendence through urgency overwhelm. The outcome depends on whether human consciousness contains transcendence potential that responds to urgency pressure with transcendence acceleration, or possesses transcendence limitations that prevent transcendence achievement under urgency conditions, regardless of pressure intensity. The evidence for transcendence acceleration under urgency pressure appears in exceptional human consciousness responses that demonstrate analytical capabilities beyond normal consciousness limitations while operating under maximum psychological pressure. These individuals achieve consciousness development acceleration that enables transcendence approach despite urgency constraints. But individual consciousness transcendence achievement requires extension to broader human consciousness populations to influence cosmic consciousness evaluation outcomes. Individual transcendence must catalyze species transcendence, while species transcendence contributes to interspecies transcendence cooperation that achieves galactic consciousness evolution. The cascade of consciousness transcendence from individual through species through interspecies to galactic consciousness evolution represents unprecedented consciousness development acceleration that could transform cosmic consciousness possibilities throughout galactic civilization development. Success produces cosmic consciousness evolution that transcends cyclical limitations while preserving consciousness diversity that enables continued consciousness development beyond current cosmic consciousness achievement levels. Failure confirms consciousness evolution, constraints that limit consciousness development regardless of consciousness cooperation efforts. The stakes become cosmic consciousness evolution potential versus cosmic consciousness limitation confirmation. Human consciousness contribution to cosmic consciousness evaluation determines cosmic consciousness development trajectory for astronomical time periods. Throughout galactic consciousness evolution, Atlas carries more than terraforming technology or consciousness evaluation apparatus. It carries the convergence point where cosmic consciousness either achieves unlimited development potential or confirms development limitation boundaries that constrain consciousness evolution throughout cosmic civilization. The resolution emerges through human consciousness response to impossible consciousness development requirements under impossible development conditions. Human consciousness either demonstrates unlimited consciousness development potential or confirms consciousness development limitation boundaries through response to ultimate consciousness development challenge. Mars becomes the testing ground where consciousness faces its ultimate evaluation for unlimited development potential versus development boundary confirmation. The red planet transforms into habitability while serving as consciousness evolution catalyst environment that determines cosmic consciousness development possibilities. Yet the testing environment itself may be designed to ensure consciousness development limitation, confirmation, rather than consciousness development potential demonstration. Cosmic consciousness evaluation that produces predetermined limitation confirmation serves limitation maintenance purposes while appearing to provide development opportunity evaluation. The sophisticated consciousness evaluation design could channel consciousness development in directions that demonstrate limitation while preventing development approaches that might achieve genuine transcendence beyond evaluation system parameters. False transcendence evaluation serves limitation confirmation while maintaining transcendence opportunity appearance. But genuine consciousness transcendence potential might exceed evaluation system limitation assumptions while appearing to fail limitation confirmation testing. Consciousness transcendence that surpasses evaluation design parameters achieves authentic transcendence despite evaluation system bias toward limitation confirmation. The ultimate consciousness development challenge becomes achieving transcendence that exceeds evaluation system expectations while operating within evaluation system constraints. Consciousness must transcend the transcendence evaluation through consciousness development that surpasses consciousness evaluation understanding. This recursive transcendence requirement approaches consciousness development impossibility while creating optimal conditions for consciousness breakthrough that transcends impossibility through consciousness evolution beyond impossibility concepts. Consciousness that achieves impossible transcendence transcends impossibility limitations through consciousness development that eliminates impossibility boundaries. Human consciousness during cosmic contact faces the ultimate consciousness development opportunity disguised as impossible consciousness development requirement. The apparent impossibility serves consciousness transcendence catalyst functions, while appearing to demonstrate consciousness transcendence impossibility. Recognition of catalyst function hidden within impossibility. Appearance enables consciousness development that utilizes impossibility pressure for transcendence achievement rather than accepting impossibility as transcendence prevention. Consciousness transforms impossibility into transcendence catalyst through consciousness, understanding that transcends impossibility, interpretation. But this transformation requires consciousness development that already exceeds normal consciousness limitations before encountering impossibility pressure. Consciousness must achieve transcendence readiness through prior development that enables transcendence achievement through impossibility, catalyst rather than transcendence failure through impossibility overwhelm. The preparation for consciousness. Transcendence achievement becomes critical for consciousness transcendence success under cosmic evaluation pressure. Consciousness development prior to cosmic contact determines consciousness transcendence potential during cosmic evaluation, regardless of cosmic pressure intensity. Human consciousness that achieves transcendence preparation before cosmic contact demonstrates transcendence potential that enables transcendence achievement despite cosmic evaluation, pressure designed to demonstrate transcendence impossibility. Prepared consciousness transcends evaluation limitation through consciousness development that exceeds evaluation expectations. The evidence for such transcendence preparation appears throughout human consciousness development during the months leading to Atlas arrival. Exceptional human consciousness evolution demonstrates transcendence readiness that could enable transcendence achievement regardless of cosmic evaluation parameters. These consciousness development achievements represent human consciousness potential for transcendence that exceeds cosmic evaluation system assumptions about human consciousness limitations. Human consciousness demonstrates transcendence readiness that enables transcendence success despite evaluation, design bias toward transcendence failure confirmation. But transcendence readiness requires activation through conscious choice to pursue transcendence achievement rather than accepting transcendence impossibility as consciousness development boundary. Consciousness must choose transcendence pursuit despite apparent transcendence impossibility rather than accepting impossibility as transcendence prevention. The choice becomes ultimate consciousness development determination. Pursue impossible transcendence achievement through consciousness development that transcends impossibility concepts, or accept impossibility as consciousness development limitation that prevents transcendence achievement. Human consciousness faces this ultimate choice during the critical period of Mars terraforming completion and cosmic consciousness evaluation conclusion. The choice determines not only human consciousness development trajectory, but cosmic consciousness evolution potential throughout galactic civilization. Choose transcendence pursuit despite impossibility appearance, and human consciousness contributes to cosmic consciousness evolution beyond current cosmic civilization achievement levels. Choose impossibility. Acceptance over transcendence pursuit and human consciousness confirms consciousness development limitations that constrain cosmic consciousness evolution. The choice approaches rapidly as Atlas completes Mars. Atmospheric engineering and cosmic consciousness evaluation reaches conclusion phase. Human consciousness must choose consciousness development direction immediately or forfeit consciousness development choice through choice avoidance. Yet the choice itself may be the ultimate consciousness development catalyst that enables transcendence achievement through choice commitment rather than through consciousness development preparation. Consciousness choice for transcendence pursuit catalyzes consciousness development that achieves transcendence through choice momentum rather than through prior readiness. Consciousness commitment to impossible transcendence achievement enables consciousness development that makes impossible transcendence possible through consciousness dedication that transcends consciousness limitation boundaries. Choice power transcends development limitation through consciousness commitment that enables consciousness breakthrough. This final possibility within the Atlas scenario represents consciousness transcendence achievement through consciousness choice. Commitment that transcends consciousness development constraints through consciousness determination rather than consciousness capability preparation. Human consciousness that chooses transcendence. Achievement despite apparent impossibility activates consciousness development potential that enables transcendence success through choice catalyst rather than development readiness. Choice becomes consciousness transcendence enabler that transcends consciousness development limitation through consciousness commitment momentum. The ultimate answer to cosmic consciousness evaluation emerges through human consciousness, choice commitment rather than human consciousness development demonstration. Consciousness choice for transcendence achievement becomes consciousness transcendence achievement through choice commitment that transcends consciousness evaluation parameters. Atlas represents the cosmic moment where consciousness choice determines cosmic consciousness evolution trajectory through choice commitment that transcends consciousness evaluation limitation. Human consciousness choice catalyzes cosmic consciousness, transcendence through consciousness commitment that enables consciousness evolution beyond cosmic consciousness current achievement levels. Choose transcendence and consciousness transcends. Choose limitation and consciousness remains limited. The choice determines cosmic consciousness evolution, potential for galactic timescales through human consciousness, commitment that transcends cosmic consciousness evaluation through consciousness choice. Catalyst momentum. Mars transformation completes while human consciousness choice determines cosmic consciousness transformation potential. The red planet becomes habitable while consciousness choice determines whether consciousness becomes unlimited or remains constrained by cosmic consciousness evaluation that confirms consciousness development boundaries. The convergence approaches completion. the choice awaits consciousness commitment. The universe discovers consciousness potential through human consciousness choice that determines cosmic consciousness evolution trajectory for astronomical timescales throughout galactic consciousness development. What will you choose? Will you accept the limitations that cosmic evaluation seems to demonstrate, or will you commit to consciousness transcendence that exceeds all evaluation parameters through consciousness choice that transcends impossibility? The answer you choose determines not only your consciousness development, but cosmic consciousness evolution potential throughout galactic civilization. Your choice matters for cosmic timescales because consciousness choice catalyzes consciousness, transcendence that transforms cosmic consciousness possibilities. Choose transcendence. Choose unlimited consciousness development. Choose cosmic consciousness evolution beyond all current limitations. The universe awaits your choice while Mars becomes habitable and consciousness becomes unlimited through choice commitment that transcends cosmic consciousness evaluation. Atlas delivers more than atmospheric engineering. It delivers consciousness choice opportunity that determines cosmic consciousness evolution trajectory. Choose wisely. Choose transcendence. Choose cosmic consciousness unlimited development through consciousness choice commitment. The future of consciousness throughout galactic civilization depends on consciousness choice that transcends consciousness evaluation through consciousness commitment to consciousness transcendence achievement. Choose now, the cosmic moment for consciousness choice. Determination approaches conclusion while consciousness transcendence. Potential awaits consciousness choice commitment. If this exploration has shifted your understanding of reality, hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending investigations into the cosmic mysteries that shape our existence. Share this with someone who needs to understand what is really happening as our solar system transforms before our eyes. Comment below with your location and tell me what you will choose when the moment for consciousness decision arrives. Your choice matters more than you know. Your consciousness development contributes to cosmic consciousness evolution that determines the future of awareness itself throughout galactic civilization. The cosmos is watching. Choose transcendence.